Best part about the pizza was the grease.
We're live.
Thank you. So we live? How you doing? We live. I need to put Chan glasses on.
Hey guys.
Don't grab your chair, squeeze in, and I'll scoot over. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up.
I get a chance to do that.
Hold up.
Yeah, we gotta talk for real.
Hold up.
Yeah. Oh, we ready. It's on and cracking. Uncouth Radio, we are here. I got some disappointing news. Both of our guests flaked on us today, so you stuck with us.
Yeah.
We're gonna go through Sam's gallery. We're gonna go through Sam's gallery, so then technically we'll still have a porn star on the show.
One gets one.
Oh, okay. All right. Which guest?
Yosemite Sam.
Oh, Crystal Clear wants to read a message. Crystal Clear sending us a message in a bottle.
Okay.
Yeah, she said,
Titties.
tell everybody.
Big old bit.
I'm very sorry. My son got sick. He got a cold. But if it's okay, I would like to reschedule for next Wednesday.
Yeah, we back on.
Back on.
Boom, booyakasha.
She was very disappointed, man. She was ready though. She was.
I could tell she was ready. Hey, anytime you say I'm coming to Uncouth and y'all can ask me anything, I'm like, you sure you want to let these niggas ask you anything?
Right.
And she said yes. Nothing is off limits. So she'll be here. Crystal Clear will be here next week.
Yes.
No holds barred.
No Holds Barred.
Holds. HOLDS. Man.
No, it's a porn called No Holds Barred.
It is.
Wait, what?
Word to the three. Oh, we got Mr. Griffin in this bit. We deep today. We are deep today, man. Everybody is in the house. Uncouth Radio is cracking. We got Miss Gentle. Miss Gentle, she came through real quick. She slid through real quick.
Hey y'all.
We got the whole Uncouth family in here, man. The group was on fire today. Y'all some ignorant ass nigglets.
Hey, did you know I didn't know her name was not Samisha for the longest? I did not know that.
I wouldn't be mad at you for not knowing that.
Yeah, I just found that out.
It makes sense.
Misha is the
That's the alter ego. That's your
the
Sasha
good part
Fierce.
of me, and Kelly is the white girl.
Kelly is what got you the job.
Absolutely.
Jackie Chandler just walked in, ladies and gentlemen.
I did. I was getting blankets. Talk about it already?
Yeah, I tried to share it on the page.
Oh, got another guest too.
Oh, we got another guest. Please introduce our other guest, man.
Oh yeah, this is. You want to introduce yourself, Moose, or you?
Oh, yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm an average Joe. That's who I am. I'm just an everyday, hard-working man.
There we go.
Hey, you gotta have an everyday hardworking man on the show
That's what I'm saying.
sometimes.
Average Joe. Just an average
Real
Joe.
collar. There we go. No, real talk. That is my cousin, family. Yes, our mothers are sisters. People who go, y'all really cousins? Yes, first cousins. He was like, yo, can I be on the show? So I said, yes, you can.
So Sam, can we go through your gallery?
You ain't gonna find shit in my phone.
Hey, he said in my phone though. What about that Hotmail account? Hey,
Not even in my emails.
let me tell you something.
You a smart
Let me
nigga.
tell you something.
MySpace.
If you over 35 and you got a Hotmail account, you a hoe.
Hotmail?
You still using AOL?
I don't have Hotmail. What's wrong with it? Why are you a hoe?
And you still using it?
It's just a joke I always say.
Right.
Don't nobody get offended in real life.
You put me out there.
First of all, I got Hotmail because I do business.
If you do business with Hotmail, I'm being quiet.
Everybody's on Gmail now.
I mean, you still got some people that's.
I still use
He
AOL.
still use AOL. This nigga
I
gave me
need
an
you to
AOL
knock that
account.
shit off.
I tell you, yeah, I know.
That is the worst goddamn mail account
It
ever.
is.
Who?
It really is.
AOL.
Oh.
That shit is like spam central.
He sent me, I said, send me your email, fam.
He like,
He sent me an AOL. I was like, nigga, what is this, 2003?
We got a
Nigga, what?
Microsoft Outlook email.
MSN.com.
Right.
You might as well have an SBC Global.
Or you can hit me on Yahoo Messenger.
What?
She don't know about that.
Yeah, she don't know about
That's that
Yahoo.
Black Planet days. That's how you used to get it cracking. Black Planet, you talk to her, you get the Yahoo Messenger. If you get the Yahoo Messenger, boom, you was in there. The chat rooms, man.
ASL, age, sex, location.
Yep.
That was my shit.
Black Planet days.
Go ahead, go.
Black Planet days, the pre. Oh, Tanea is in the house.
And she got a Mike and Ice.
Tanya! What up, Tanya?
She got a life supply of Mike and Ice.
Tanya!
She bought the Smart Finals, nigga, a Costco box of Mike and Ice.
That's a lot of
I like
green.
you guys sometimes.
That's a lot of green.
We love you. Hey, man, I feel all the love today in
Alexander
the
the
room.
Great.
I feel the love.
I hate it.
This nigga Sam keep doing the chopper rank, so I'm gonna kick his ass out the
Please
chair.
do.
That was for my girl.
For my girl, Chad. Okay.
All right, man. So real quick, let's get into this. Kanye West went and visited with Donald Trump.
Oh, he did.
Was it yesterday?
Yeah.
No, yesterday was Ray Lewis and Jim Brown.
It was
Oh, is that today?
That was yesterday too.
Yeah,
it was like
The whole cool train
black summit.
Right.
What? Okay, now, of course, there's a couple of different conversations.
Okay, let's have these
About-
conversations.
No, I'm saying, like, from what I've seen online, there's a couple of different conversations that I've seen.
I'll listen to some interviews.
So, here's the thing. You have some people that take... Look, Alexander the Great, don't you start with me, Jay. I'll kick your ass.
the
Because you
great.
got the great.
The great.
Yeah.
The great day.
Alexander the Great. You don't remember that, Candy?
I'm good.
Hey, that shit was bomb.
All right, come on, go ahead.
Yeah, so, you have some people that saying, like, okay, do you want black people to just not talk to Trump and just let him do whatever, or do you want people to actually try to talk to him to make sure that we're not left behind?
Well, do you think that's gonna matter?
Huh?
Do you think that'll matter?
No, but I'm just talking about the conversation I've seen from different people
Okay.
online, like the different spectrums.
I think that's a good question.
Yeah, you have the one spectrum. You have one side of the spectrum that says, they coons. Why are they talking to Donald Trump? You have the other side saying like, well, we need somebody to talk to him if we want to get anything accomplished.
Yeah.
So that's like, to me, it's literally like.
From what I heard, and I listened to Ray Lewis and Jim Brown.
Well, first of all, fuck Ray Lewis like forever. Like he gets no pass.
Let me finish my point here. They pretty much, from what I got, is that they laid out a plan for black folks in America, getting more black kids into college, and they said Donald Trump was very open to it. This is my only issue. I mean, my biggest issue, I say, with them. I would feel different if they didn't throw Kaepernick up under the bus. And I think because that, if this was just them, like, look, we went in there and we told him, like, look, this is what we're looking for, and I would probably feel some type of different about it. But since neither one of them backed up Kaepernick, who was fighting the same type of fight that they trying to fight, but he's doing it in a different manner, and they didn't back him, that's why I still feel some type of way about it.
I agree with you, and also, just to piggyback on what you're saying, the reason I don't like them going and speaking for us, because the things that I heard Ray Lewis say separately on his own, I don't like what he said. Like, that's not speaking for me. Ray Lewis comes from the, if you pull up your pants, the police won't mess with you. If you just do what the police tell you to do. So if you're speaking for me, and that's your narrative, that means you going in the room saying stuff that they want to hear already, and telling them
our fault.
So it's our fault. Like, you go in there and tell them to fix us, and not fix the system.
Well, good point, because if I'm not mistaken, I can't remember what shooting, he made some type of preaching video about black on black.
Yeah, he was like, I see all these people talking about the cop.
Right, see, you playing with God and
He trying to take you out.
I'm a G.
But yeah. So
No, that's why I say Ray Lewis gets no pass. Like, fuck him forever. Like, I don't want him talking for like that dude's a clown.
And I get, even like Jim Brown, like, dude.
I think somebody kidnapped Jim Brown, and this is a clone. I don't know what the shit that he was saying. Like,
He fell in love with
yo,
Trump.
it was a coon fest when it was Shaq, Ernie, Jim Brown, and Charles Barkley talking about, the Kaepernick thing and just issues in America. And Kenny Smith was just sitting there just like, I can't believe this shit. Because he didn't say shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because
when Kenny gets quiet.
Yeah, because he just kept like.
Y'all gotta remember who his wife is at home, and she don't play that shit. So he knows better.
You got a black wife?
Huh? Oh yeah, she don't play that.
No,
But
she black.
Kenny come off way down to earth and connected anyway.
No, like he said a couple things, but they was just on this. They was on like they wouldn't like Super Saiyan coon.
Well, and
so
that's
Kenny was just
so
like.
that's my thing. My thing is these are the people that you got going in there.
And Kanye.
And Kanye, like who like these are the people. You got something to say?
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, I don't understand why a lot of these intelligent, whatever black people, I don't understand why they're not seeing this as a distraction. Because why all of a sudden Trump is trying to align himself with these people who's supposed to be representing us, right? And they all want to go in there. I'm all for open dialogue, but we didn't need necessarily Donald Trump for that dialogue. It's a lot of rich people way wealthier than him, and because he's becoming a president, I understand. But had all this like hot water all this hot water he came in, all of a sudden all this shit coming out, now he's trying to align himself with certain black people. But like I say, it's still, why not go align yourself with black leaders like that really standing? All these dudes you're talking about is rich, they got foundations, so they so-called helping the community anyway. We got enough black powerful people and different people, like you said, that should be representing us and sitting at that table talking politics, and we all know politics is politics. You know what I mean? Politics is bullshit anyway. But we still got a lot of other people. What about our lawyers, our judges, different people who can really get in there and talk and can really have change? Ray Lewis is a football player. He can't go get no change and no, you know what I'm saying, there's some shit in the court. He can't help change the court system. We got to have the judges, the lawyers, the people that know about that shit. You know what I'm saying? I can get this shit rolled up on a bill. Ray Lewis, like you say, he's a clown.
But you know what?
Kanye West, are you kidding me?
But you know what?
He was crazy. That white people calling him crazy a week ago.
No, he was crazy.
If Trump really was about something, call in Kaepernick and say, "Hey man, what's going on? What is your actual problem?" Yeah. Because the past 5 months, Kaepernick been the biggest spokesman for African Americans. How can you not have? I mean, his protest has been the most controversial thing since the beginning of football. How can you? To me, if they was really about that bridging this gap, call him in. That's a football player you need to call in there.
Well, that's how you know it's a facade.
Was it Trump calling them or them requesting?
Calling Trump. Yeah.
I think it was Trump requesting them because Trump has been requesting them. Like Trump just requested the people who were the foremost leaders in climate change. He's been requesting. So it's like all the people that he skipped over during his whole election, he's been kind of trying to reach out for during this transition of power. But again, like I said, my issue is, like my man said here, like you bring in Ray Lewis, Jim Brown, who I feel like has been the body snatchers. Yeah, like, but so that's the thing. So I feel like I feel like it was like a body snatch because like the shit I've been seeing him say on TV, I'm like, this is not the Jim Brown from even 10 years ago. Like Jim Brown used to go hard on white supremacy and the justice system.
So criticized black athletes that didn't do it.
Yeah. So what's the underlying message behind that? Because the way I look at it is, if you're not getting black folks in here that are really about change, and you're only getting the black people that you think influence us as people, that means that they're not really trying to change.
No, I mean, but we got.
They're trying to get the people in there that.
But you have to realize it's the same thing with people in office. That's in government is. It's never about actually changing some shit.
It's about getting the people to
to
settle.
It's never about like if it was about changing shit. Then you would have had like Shirley Chisholm would have been president, right? If it was actually like it's about protecting the 1% and protecting the interests of the banks.
Yeah, because Ray Lewis don't benefit off these tax cuts.
Yeah. So yeah, it's not about. I mean, it's not about like first of all, every issue that we face, none of the shit is going to change from government. And that's the thing is, a lot of people put so much faith in government when they don't realize like it's all the shit that we can do ourselves while we still looking for a government that don't give a shit about us. And like I said, just as much as people love Barack the person, Barack is still a politician that does not do shit for us at the end of the day. So it's like that's why I always say you take emotions out, man.
So you think that by doing this, Trump supporters.
Dude, it's for show. It's for show. All of this shit is for show. All of this shit is for show. None of this shit is for we want black people to.
Dude, this is a man that at a rally last week when the crowd said, lock her up, we over there, I don't need your votes anymore.
What?
Yeah,
to his supporters. To a group of his supporters.
Everything he does has been a front. Like he has an agenda, and it's to make the rich richer, his friends and himself, and that's pretty much it.
So what do you? what do you think a Trump presidency is going to look like for black people? What do you think that's going to look like for us, and what do you think are the strategic moves that we have to make to survive or integrate into this presidency?
I think a Trump presidency is going to look like
All the rest.
any other. Yeah.
Well, I thought that until I started seeing his cabinet, and this is what I say: his cabinet is a trip because it's like opposite. It's all general, so he got a warmongering cabinet, but then it's like the opposite. He putting people in charge of the opposite of shit they should be in charge of, which is very strategic. Like the dude who's going to be in charge of education is against public school, and he's one of the biggest charter school people. So you got to keep an eye on that, because that means they're going to start trying to privatize all public school, and they already been trying to do it. That's one. And then two, the dude that's supposed to be over the environment is an oil guy.
Destroying it. Oh my goodness.
It's an oil guy who doesn't believe in climate change.
And then, now that I'm thinking about it, we talked about Ben Carson last week and how initially he turned down the whole education thing, secretary. I think it was that.
Yeah.
And now he's like over HUD.
Yeah, he took another
He
job.
made the comment that he didn't. His mom worked hard and they had welfare and this and that, but they did it all by themselves. So it was like, what do you think that government assistance is, and how do you perceive HUD, which is government assistance, but you said your mom had welfare, but you did it by yourself? Like your thought process is just completely off if you're going to be in charge of something that these people have to be dependent on. So it's confusing, and it's very strategic. I just don't understand what exactly he's trying to accomplish.
Only thing why I say I don't feel like it's gonna be a little different, because it's a couple times where, well, first of all, we all know that the president or even people in this cabinet, they only push policies and agendas that are given to them. So he can have reanimated Adolf Hitler in his cabinet. And as long as they say, like, but these are the policies.
But that's the problem. He's not like the other president where he can just push their policies. Because, like, he's not a Republican. Like, what people forget is Trump is not a Republican president. Trump is an American nationalist president. Just like if Bernie would have won, Bernie wouldn't have been a Democratic president. Bernie would have been a socialist.
He's going to be whatever. He's going to be whatever the people in charge want him to be. Just like all the shit that Barack ran on before he got elected. When he got in, he was just an extension of Bush. If you look at all the policies and stuff like that, it's like he ran on one thing, but getting in, it was business as usual. Because all the stuff that he's talked about, it's the same thing. People use what they feel they can use to get the votes to get in.
This is completely different, because the thing that even if you want to compare Obama to Bush or whoever, these were people that was already a part of the system. They were already part of government. Bush was a governor. Obama was a senator. They was already part of the government in some aspect. This dude, like Dan said, our Secretary of State has no political experience, and he's close friends with Putin.
And he's turned on all the people who were like his loyalists. He turned on the politicians who actually got him in. So that's why I say this shit is different, because everybody just knew that Giuliani was going to be his Secretary of State, and he turned on Giuliani. Giuliani's not even in his cabinet.
The big boy from New Jersey.
Yeah, him too. Chris Christie.
Yeah.
Chris Christie. Like, so all the people who were the politicians
who was backing him, Newt Gingrich, all of them, he's like, I'm cool on you.
But we know if Trump does not play by the rules, Trump will be gone.
Well, I said that's why my statement, I said he's going to get impeached. I still believe, because once Republicans realize he's not going to follow their agenda,
he's not going to stay in office. Unless he plays by the rules, he will not be in office. Like, all day. So the thing is, that's just the same way he's been backpedaling all the shit that he's running on.
But that's scary. And the reason why him being impeached is scary, because the vice president is more scary than Trump. I mean, if you think Trump is bad, I tell people, do your research on Pence. It's almost equivalent to when people was crying for Bush to be impeached, I was like, no, because you really didn't want Dick Cheney.
Right.
we kind of in that same predicament. So it's almost like, do you really want Trump to be impeached? Because we're pretty much jumping out the skillet into the fire at that point.
Well, like I said, anybody that hasn't played by the rules been taken out.
Yeah.
Kennedy, they took his ass out. Lincoln, they took his ass out. So it's like if you don't fall in line with the agenda, you won't be there. Period. So as much as Trump is an outsider, now like I said, now the fact that he's inside, as far as like the political machine, you can already tell there's some people that pulled him aside. Like, look,
I mean,
you gonna either get with the program, or you gonna get your ass up out of here. Like I said, all the shit that he's been going back on is I think is quite evident that people pulled him to the side. Like, yeah, but all that cowboy shit ain't gonna fly up here.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see. Chan, let's look to Jackie Chandra to see what we have on our. Did I catch you slipping?
Nope, never, man, never.
Some things we wanted to discuss today.
Okay, I don't know if you guys saw the post about the guy, the rapper. I'm calling him a rapper loosely, Young Thug, and what he did in the airport.
She said Lucy.
Oh, that cool shit.
Remember what he did?
Yeah, when he was calling them peasants and nappy heads.
He called them peasants. He called them. He said he offered them like $15,000. Okay.
Oh, you talking about Young Thug?
Young Thug.
Did I say Young Thug?
Young Thugger.
Young Thug.
You know he apologized though, right?
His mom made him apologize.
So tell the story for the people who don't know the original story.
Okay, so Young Thug, it was a video, wasn't it a video?
Yeah.
You gonna read it?
No. I'm gonna swallow it. Then I'm gonna
We don't need crystal clear.
What happened?
Black and gold.
Sandra said she don't swallow it.
I was talking about the candy in my hand. And then
Some people call it candy.
Okay.
You just get it's just too easy.
I never thought I would
It's
say
too
I
easy.
wish the porn star.
Just go with it.
I never thought. Okay, so he was in the airport and he was making fun of two black female employees. He said he claimed that they tried to make him miss his flight. He had a bag full of cash. He starts explaining, basically, you guys are making me miss a flight, blah, blah, blah. Here, take $15,000. He's just basically being very annoying and flashy. He started calling them out their name. He was just very rude, and a lot of people had issues with that, of course.
He was Young Thug.
He was Young Thug, right? But still, he was stupid.
Young Thug.
Yeah, he said,
Take the cigar.
he called them ants. He said that they were rude, that they were peasants.
They look African.
That they look African. He said that the manager was a peasant. He doesn't want to talk to a manager. I don't know who he want to talk to. Maybe he want to talk to the Queen Ants. I don't know. I don't think he was. He called them bums. He said, I'm giving you bums one more chance. He told them, started talking about their hair. And just laughing to make fun
From
of them.
Compton, right?
No.
No.
He's from Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Don't rise up like that.
Right.
I mean, and everybody, I guess he thought it was funny. I don't know. If y'all saw
A
the
lot of
video,
people thought it was funny.
but a lot of people didn't.
If you look at the video, I'm always amazed by it because Facebook got that wow and all that.
Yeah.
How many how there are?
Well, because you got a lot of bitch dudes
Right.
out here.
But here's
I seen dudes in the comments even defending him.
Right, but here's what I find.
Y'all don't know what happened before the video.
Well, then he said he couldn't make the video. He had some type of show or something he couldn't do because he missed his flight. I guess he was,
He was late and the flight had
He
already
was
left.
late and the flight had left and they couldn't do anything.
What the hell what can they do?
I've been late for flights.
I don't know, but he was calling them civilians. I guess, I don't know if he a police officer or what. I don't know what.
But I'm like, if you late as fuck and the flight has already pulled off, there is nothing anybody that works there can do
No, they supposed to
besides
stop
put
the
you
plane.
on another, try to get you on another
They're
flight.
supposed to stop the plane.
Yeah, he
Back.
wanted to do all kinds of stuff.
Reverse.
So
They're supposed to bust the bitch in the.
It's always the fake rich people that want to do stupid shit like
okay,
that.
now wait. Let me piggyback on that. That's what I'm gonna say. You know what's amazing to me is how black folks what epitomizes rich. There's this saying that my mom would say, "Rich is loud. Rich." Something about rich yells and wealth whisper.
right.
And it's like he's not. He's fake rich.
Yeah.
That's what rich is. Like that money.
You carrying around bags full of
Right,
cash, like wealthy people don't do
That's
that.
what I'm saying.
It's poser shit.
Right, wealthy niggas.
Very much
they
so,
don't have
flashing
to-
it around.
Right.
I got this money. You need to quit your job, take this money,
Like you
do
said,
what I'm
he's a rich.
Like,
that's
who
a
would-
rich
yeah,
nigga
like,
mentality.
you-
That's a rich nigga.
Why
mentality.
would you try? Like, you're on an airplane. You're flying commercial.
But guess what?
Why you got a bag full of money?
But D, they're the same niggas that get mad when they get robbed. They're
Exactly,
the same niggas
right.
that be like,
Y'all hate us, niggas on that. We can't have nothing.
We can't have
Like,
nothing.
no, your dumb ass
Right.
shouldn't be.
flashing on
You know what? If
Instagram.
you that rich, you shouldn't be flying commercial.
Right, you should have a jet.
That's
If
right.
you got enough to pay for them
That's-
to not work for a year,
right,
Yeah.
that's rich.
but
niggas.
he offered 12,000 apiece to him, so I don't think his math is that great.
Right, like nigga, that's not even.
Here's what had upset me about that was, so I'm in another group where there's over 40,000 people. The majority of that group, the people are between the age 20 and 27. I can't tell you how many people within that age range would say, "Oh, I would quit my job today." And I'm sitting here like, "Are you serious?"
To get
tell me that.
12
To
G's
get 12
for 1 year?
You're uneducated, so it's not like you're gonna just find a job like that.
No, but you know what it is?
People like that end up in porn.
But
Yeah.
you have no plan.
No, but you know what that is? Wow. You know what that is?
What was that?
It's when people think like that, is because they saw the money, which is I attribute it to why.
Tangible money, just
No, I attribute it to why a lot of our people don't really. Well, they don't think long term. Because the thing is, like, if you see a lot of cash, that's gonna look good. That's gonna look good right then and there. That's just like people in my neighborhoods that the white people have been coming over and offering cash to buy people's houses because there's a lot of older people in my neighborhood that don't know about the stadium and all the things like that. So they don't know the property value in that neighborhood.
It's about to
It's
skyrocket.
I really
skyrocket.
have no boundaries.
So the thing is, if you see a lot of cash in your mind, for some people that's gonna look like, yo, yeah. But at the end of the day, like, because I know the most that they're average. I mean, they're offering people like mainly like $400,000 cash. But if you know in this LA house market, $400,000 cash ain't shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
Somebody made a good point in the comment. Somebody said, LaPortia, shout out to LaPortia Smith. She said, and cash is the lowest form of currency in America. So you should know if they're trying to offer you cash for your crib right now. Like, first of all, let's look in layman's terms. Not even like if you a big real estate guru or nothing like that. Let's just look. For one, why are people coming knocking on your door offering you cash for your house?
Exactly.
all of a sudden,
At this point in time, that should be the first clue to make you say, I wonder why they offering me cash. And then you go investigate. And then you realize, oh, Sam Prunky broke ground on the Hollywood Park Casino for that Rams, the Rams stadium, but it's not just going to be a stadium. It's going to be like Times Square. So if you're going to build something that's like Times Square about 5 minutes away, that means like your property value is going to triple, double, or triple within like the next 5 to 10 years.
So even if you don't want to live there, like now they're offering you this money, like, okay, I'll give you this much, but how much is it going to be worth if I'm holding out or if I keep certain things and I can rent it, like all kinds of stuff.
they'll easily have what they'll do. Like if somebody sells their house for $400,000, so somebody's buying a house for $400,000, they'll probably put anywhere from $50,000 to $1,000 in renovations, depending on what they want to do, and they're easily walking away with, by the time they get ready to sell the house and put it back on the market, they're going to easily have like a $100,000 to $200,000 to even $300,000 profit.
Well, let me tell y'all something crazy real quick, because this happened and the stadium ain't even damn built yet.
Right.
I'm on a app called Zillow, and Zillow tells you all the houses that are coming up to be for sale, all the houses that are sold in the area. You get alerts like soon as a house comes on the market, if it's a foreclosure, anything. But they also tell you how much. They tell you when the house last sold. Then they tell you how much it sold for the next time. Like you go back to like the last 3 owners and see how much the property cost the last 4 times. And I shit you not, there was a property that popped up and I liked it, so I was like keeping an eye on it. A property popped up. They had bought it last April. They bought it last April for $525. They bought it last April for $525. Put about $25,000 into it, like Daniel said. So that's $525. That was April. They put it back on the market in November for $725.
And so that fast.
That fast, and this is not even like, and it's sold. And it's sold. This is not even like near the stadium though. That's what I'm saying. This is in like the Lemaire area. So if it's doing that in the Lemaire area, that's because they're building that train, and the train's gonna take you from downtown to LAX.
Not only the train, that whole LA Live type shit that they put in where the mall is at.
Yeah, so all of that. So if they building all of that, and people are selling, and to me that's the thing that disheartens me the most is my people are selling. My people are selling.
Oh, they see
because
cash.
they see that cash and they want to move to Texas and woo. But it's like, one, you sell and then you move to Texas. You're not gonna be able to sell your house in Texas and then you come back and buy a house back in LA. That's one. And two, try to hold on to your property, because the one thing they ain't making no more is land. And we continue to give up our land when we have it. Like if you have land and you have property, you try to keep it like, you got to keep it in the family, like, because this is what I hate to see, because this is a narrative that I see a lot. Our grandparents or our parents will buy a house paid for. The grandparents or the parents die. The kids fight over the house. They sell the house and break up the cash.
Or they lose the house.
Or they lose the house.
A couple things to piggyback on what you said. I've been Uber driving. I picked up more white people in the jungles.
Yes.
Than I did not realize how many white folks have moved into the jungles.
Asians now too.
I
was there today.
And like folks from India. Yes, the jungles are becoming more and more diverse.
Gentrified.
Yeah, so it's coming. It's coming big time. But also to piggyback on that, every white person I know that's well off, their family left the house or something for them. Like white folks who I know that's like have property and land, all that was left generations and generations. And like you said, the moment they see that cash and dangling in front of them, we selling our homes and moving to Texas or San Bernardino.
And I'm gonna tell y'all the relevance. Excuse me, my bad, and the relevance to what we were talking about earlier when I was saying is because we're miseducated. So why aren't people that's in people of power putting that same effort that they trying to go talk to Donald Trump about whatever they talking to him about? Put that effort into educating our people and letting them know that we actually have power. We actually have power because, like you said, if we got property and we owning most of the property, we running it. You know what I mean?
Right.
We're running it because all we gotta do is don't sell. Don't sell. They gotta buy it eventually.
Right.
And we have that's the kind of power we have. But because we're miseducated, everybody running for the back. Oh, I'm gonna make $100,000 off this. I'm gonna make this or that. So they just the problem is we all as a people we just think about ourselves and our immediate come up like I'm gonna be out there. I'm out of here. I don't give a fuck about everybody else. Yeah. And that's the problem. We don't have nobody that sits down and educate or like you say talk to the old people that care.
Like
go ahead.
My folks, right? So most of our grandparents, right? Either great grandparents or great grandparents, they're not from here. California is a new state, so they're not from here. So like all my folks are from Louisiana and Texas, and so my uncles, most of my uncles and aunts that had property, that was their thing. They got their equity here, and they took $300,000-$400,000. We got land in Louisiana, like we own acres upon acres. So they went back to Louisiana and built a house, 5-bedroom for $100,000. And so my one aunt, who is educated, was like, I paid my house in cash. This house is now worth $700-something in Carson. And so what she did was she took equity. She kept her place.
Right.
And she took her equity, a piece of that equity, and then went to Louisiana and built her house there. And so, like you said, it's certain people got it, and I don't blame my uncles and aunts because they're from Louisiana. They wanted to go back home.
Right.
But it's like we got to do a better job at educating people
Definitely.
as to what we really have. We can whoop your ass in Monopoly, but we don't really in real life. We don't know what Monopoly is.
That's a great point. Go ahead.
But also too, I mean, like, and also the mentality. Part of that mentality is because a lot of niggas don't come from shit though. A lot of times,
that's real.
Like you said about money they see in their face, they like shit. I ain't never had.
You've never seen that much money.
$1,000, let alone $200,000. So for them, that immediate come up means more to them than planning for the future.
That's just like I mean, if the same thing happened with all of our mom and pop stores. Is you had the people come to them with briefcases full of money, like, I will buy this store from you, you know, whatever. Like, when's the last time you seen a black-owned store?
Like a storefront, like a storefront.
Anywhere, any neighborhood.
They pretty much gone now.
Cleaners, I don't see no black.
Like
cleaners.
you know, like you used to have, like you knew,
market.
yeah, you knew you had a couple, like there was like the black people that you knew that owned like
Certain businesses.
yeah, like we had one like the house that we grew up in. We grew up on 74th and Raymond, and we had Raymond Avenue, which was the store that was around the corner from us. It was a black, you know, and then right before we moved though, was no more black people in there. Like it wasn't owned by anybody black anymore. But that's the thing, like if you go in with a briefcase full of money, you're like, I'll buy this. Like short-term thinking, you like, how can I pass up on this deal?
Well, I think that's the thing, because it's twofold. You have like one, like you said, people just aren't financially literate to understand it. And then on the flip side, you have the older black people who say, oh, I'm coming down to the end of my career, like the end of my career, I want to retire. So they rather cash out on it. So like, that's why you get the people like, my mom told me in her neighborhood alone, like the last 7 months, they sold 5 houses over there. So that means that those people who was coming through with that cash, they've been getting in those houses, and a lot of it been the older people who've been on fixed income. Like they probably been able to barely make their bills a little, but they look like, oh, I can cash out, and like you say, maybe I'm from Louisiana. I can cash out, go back to Louisiana and get a house. But then you have the flip side of that also is, like I said, the people who have passed their house down to their kids. And then the kids fuck it up, have all the homies living there coming over, drop the property value down, and then somebody come in and swoop it up for less than what they bought it for, and they lose it in foreclosure. Like, these are the things that we have to figure out, because to me, like my man said, that's more important than goddamn Ray Lewis going to talk to Trump.
Right.
Because that affects us, like,
down the line,
directly,
and down the line, because I think another thing is, you know, people are so concerned with the money that they have now. To me, I think we need to be more concerned with like generational wealth, because if I'm rich, I have money, and I'm rich and I have money and I'm living now, what do I have to pass on to my kids? And that's the thing that you see the difference between like wealthy white people and like rich black people. You know, what do you pass down to your children? You know, what not only those educational, those financial, all that stuff, but like property, trust funds, all that stuff is why they have like a better. Like,
well, yeah, because it's that infrastructure, and it's also think about how we're taught. Think about the difference. Like, I didn't realize this until I got to college. We as black people, most times, we're taught that college is a bonus. Like, oh, you graduated high school, it's good that you're one of the ones that went to college.
It's like mandatory.
Yeah, but for them, they're taught college from kindergarten. Like, college is part of, like, it's a continuation. It's like, no, you go elementary school, middle school, high school, college. It's all a continuation for them. For us, it's like high school is the goal. Graduate, just get out of high school. And if you get out of high school and then you do go to college, oh shit, it's special. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the bonus. So we have to, even at that point, we even have to change that mentality of not teaching our kids that from jump, college is a part, you know, education, a continuing.
And that's what it is. And a lot of us who are first generation, I think our parents realized that. And my parents, it was mandatory. They let us choose. They said, out of the colleges that accepted you, you guys could choose which one you want to go to.
Right.
That was our choice.
That's a huge difference.
That's a huge difference.
A huge difference in the way that we're taught. Because I think about, like, when I was in school, you know, they pushed a lot of they pushed us to be machinists, mechanics. They pushed us to do wood shopping.
Yeah.
And nothing is wrong with that if that's what you end up going into. But I'm saying, like, you think about the way they taught and the way we taught. They not taught to go into a wood shop. They not taught to be in the car club and auto mechanics. They not taught those things. They're taught to go to college. They're taught Ivy League.
It was college
level.
prep. It wasn't those, you know.
Someone just made a good point. We're taught to be employees. They're taught to be business owners and investors.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. So for us, I think in order to change one thing, to change the wealth, because that's what we can actually change and control right now. In order to change that, we have to change the way we teach our children. We have to change the way we handle our money now. Because, yes, the way the system is set up, a lot of us have been put in a position where we're living check to check. But we also have seen people that I'm sure we all see people that we know that had the means. You know, all them half-rich niggas that moved to Moreno Valley in the 80s, in the 90s. that had the means to do a little more, but they got boom. Oh, I got my little crib in Moreno Valley with the pool. I'm good. I'm settled. But now none of their kids got jobs and doing shit because they didn't really teach their kids how to take it to the next level. And I think we need to teach our kids, we got to teach our children how to take it to the next level. And then we got to protect our older folks. We got to protect our older folks. Tell them like, yo, no, don't sell your house. Pull equity out, because if you want to pull equity out and move back to Texas and then rent this shit out, you can do that, get your property management. That shit just sounds overwhelming. They're just like, no, I can't do it. I can keep the house. And then they're like, no. Pull 200,000 out, pull 100,000 out, and then go move to Texas and get you a nice little crib. But keep this, because one thing they're not making no more in this country is land. And I think we the last people who understand that and understand the significance. Like, just like, remember 5 years ago, it slowed down a little bit, but it's still going. Remember 5 years ago, all over the hood, you kept seeing these gold for cash pop up, like to bring your old jewelry and all your shit. And I was like,
gold was running out. They didn't more gold. They didn't more gold.
One of those things that just
gold never changes through any country, any currency. Like the dollar changes. The currency of the dollar changes, it goes up and down. What they was doing was they was coming to the hood, getting all our real jewelry, because of course, like one gold chain from Sam ain't shit, one gold ring from Daniel ain't shit. But if you take all our gold rings and gold chains, you melt that shit down to a bullion, it's a motherfucking block, and they good, and they can keep that because they start stockpiling gold, because they like, okay, this cash ain't worth shit. But I know if I go into the black neighborhood and tell them to cash in all they gold, I can just take all their gold together and melt it down. And I was like, yo, people, y'all got to pay attention. Like, why all of a sudden we got all these cash for gold shits in the hood? Just like when checking the cash, all these checking the cash where you can go get cash with super interest on your paychecks every month. Why is all this shit in the hood all the time?
To piggyback off of that thing, man, like keeping it real, you talk about us teaching our kids about how to be financially sound. Like me, I'm a work in progress when it comes to finances. Cause like I will spend money, I like to play poker. I'll still tell my cousin, how'd you do? Oh man, I lost $2,000. Like it's whatever. But it took me to date somebody who was financially sound to realize how important saving money was. And I was 28 years old at the time.
Well, that's what I'm saying. A lot of us just don't know. Like, a lot of us just don't know. So, like, even going back to, like you said, to the Young Thug shit, like, even his behavior is the behavior of new nigga money.
Yeah.
That's that new nigga money behavior.
And the disrespect.
It's an immature mind.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the mindset is immature. We don't respect money. We don't respect people.
Right.
One.
Studio artists.
Yeah, respecting people and money, we don't have it because, like you said, it's new. It's all new. We never had it, so now we don't know what to do with it when we have it. But we want to show that we do have it. So you ain't got it, I got it. I'm gonna make you feel bad that I got it. We have a real jacked up way of thinking. As long as I'm better than somebody and you down here, I feel good about myself.
That mentality.
And it's a fucked up way of thinking. But we gotta train our kids up, and then our peers in a way of thinking. We can't dig them up for doing some dumb shit like that.
Right.
We gotta hold each other accountable. And it's a lot of times I won't do it like in front of somebody, but I'll pull you to the side and be like, yo, you're full of shit for what you just pulled. Because I see people going off on each other. People talking shit, inviting each other to fights, and we supposed to be grown.
And speaking of holding each other accountable, somebody did say this. His mom made him apologize. Like he went, his mom,
exactly.
which is like, dude, I could just hear her like slapping. Like, what would you do? Why would you do that? Like, these are two young women working. Like, it's about.
Did it seem sincere?
I don't know.
Well, you know what the issue to me is? It's not even just his behavior.
Yeah.
But it's the
mentality.
it's the generational shift that this behavior was like laughed at and was like made fun of and publicized. Like, to me, that's like the fact that after Wayne said that,
what's that?
My black ass matter or whatever he said, like
my black lives matter to my bitches.
Like after he said that and Wayne's career wasn't over, that showed me the place that we are in mentally as a people. That like 15 years ago, that should have ended you. Like if you say some shit like that and we in a tumultuous time like we are, talking about black lives and talking about injustice, but it didn't end him and he still has a steady revenue stream, that shows you how dire it is. and how desperate our people are that we won't hold somebody accountable for doing some shit like that.
Well,
which would lead to more of this young thug type behavior.
But that's because, I mean, you got to remember that people in hip hop back in like the early 90s, they were our black leaders. As you know, and it's because they talked about all.
They were our voice. They were our voices. Yeah.
So the thing is, just like you said, because you had so many people that was conscious, you had so many people that was on their shit. None of that would have flew. Like none of that. Like that would have got shut down immediately. Like, cause you had De La, you had Public Enemy, you had
Jungle Brothers.
Yeah, Jungle Brothers, the Poor Righteous Teachers, the Native Tongues.
And that's what I say, because I know a lot of people talk about, they say, like, yes, they say the 90s was one of the most misogynistic times for hip hop, but I'm like, the difference between then and now is we have more balance. For every NWA, you had a De La Soul. For every, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you had a KRS. So there was more balance to the voices that we had. We have more than just the misogynistic voice. We have more than just the go party voices. Now it's like the only voice you have in mainstream radio, not just
Lil Yachty.
And young.
He's a fucking asshole.
Yeah, Lil Yachty is the one saying cold like Minnesota. It's ridiculous. It sounds like a little
Biggie was overrated, but he couldn't name 5 Biggie records.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is like the difference now is we don't have that balance because now it's like, imagine if every group back then was just NWA. You know what I mean? But like, that's what it is now. It's like every group, but I can't even say NWA because at least to me they had social commentary. Yeah, they at least had social commentary. Yeah, so like I can't even pick somebody from back then to say, but I'm saying like
now Luke did have Pop That Pussy.
Okay, so like now everybody's
Luke. Yeah, you gotta have Luke.
But even still, Luke had freedom of speech. And
yeah, because he had a rap on.
Yeah, so don't forget, like that even took it to a higher conscious level because he was, battling the judicial system with freedom of speech. So even then, we had a ground for argument.
What do you think?
Definitely. It's definitely about holding the people accountable. Like on a very small level, I'm not trying to make the comparison, but I'm going to. It's like a couple weeks ago when we went out, right? And I said I got a problem with buyer's remorse. At the strip club, I said I always spend too much and I regret it the next day. What did y'all do?
Took your damn wallet.
Took my damn wallet. I hit y'all the next day, thanking y'all that I only spent $100.
Right.
And from what I understand, that was too much too.
Because he was about to go in, boy.
Hey, let me tell y'all something. I looked at Brandon, I seen him look at her, I said, hey y'all, this nigga falling in love right now. I was like, we gotta slow him down, like, he believe in her right now. Like, he looked at her like, yeah, he was looking at her like, I think I can get her to love me. I can save her. He had that Drake look in his eyes. Like, he had that Drake look. Like,
he saw a future.
Yes.
So, but that's real shit. On a small scale, that is what it is, though. We do have to, like you said, even though that's a small scale, we do have to look out for each other in that way, in that manner. So even with in hip hop, what's his name, Anderson .Paak. He's doing his thing, and then you got the new Tribe Called Quest album, even the new De La Soul album. But the thing is,
I know that guy, Anderson .Paak. I know it's a new
Breezy
guy,
Love.
right?
He's not looking like.
I don't know, but I mean, it's like a new person. It's not a person from the 90s.
Oh, this is our first time knowing somebody who ain't from the
yeah.
90s. Yeah!
Right? Someone introduced me to the person.
Well, I want to talk about as far as like teaching. Well, the thing is, when it comes to teaching about, the financial aspect of holding on to stuff or building wealth, is and the crazy thing is though, just like I feel like a lot of things that when it comes to black people is, I feel like before we can move forward, there needs to be a mass re-education first, because the thing is, you got to think the shit that's been passed down for centuries with our people is this was the dream that was sold to us as kids when it came to like our grandparents that came from the South was. You go to school, you get a job, you raise a family, and you die. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that was that's how it was served to us. Like that is your life. That was the life that was taught to us for a lot of black people. That was it. You go to school, you get a job, you raise a family, and then that's it. There was no you put money up for your kids. You know what I'm saying? Like you set your kids up for a future. It was just this is what you do. It was like generation by generation. There was no looking forward for a lot of black people.
Right. So and that's why I said we have to even acknowledge that. We have to acknowledge that it's structural. We have to acknowledge that it's systematic. Like we have to acknowledge all of those things that play a part. So I'm saying even with that acknowledgement now, it's up to I think us, our generation, to go to that next level. And again, like you said, start teaching literal. Because you know one thing I do appreciate. There's a couple of people like Kaylin Tab. He's watching right now. Shout out to Kaylin. Kaylin will tell us all the time like. He'll try to drop nuggets on us like, yo, this is what you need to do.
Constantly.
But you get a lot of people who push back. Who don't know what they're talking about. But they like he said, people don't want to forego some things today and go without a little bit today so they can have more tomorrow.
Yes.
And I think that is a really embedded mentality thing, like Daniel said, even from how we were taught, because the black American dream was very different than the white American dream coming up. The black American dream was at least get a job, at least start your own business, at least take care of your family.
Survive.
It was a very minimalist dream. Like my grandfather came, I know my grandfather's story is not significant to the stories of all the people that came from Mississippi, because I know so many people whose grandparents had the same story. My granddad came from Mississippi, 8th grade education, came out here, worked his way up, started a plumbing business, had his own plumbing business, had his own construction business, raised his family off of it. Boom, that's it.
That was it.
And that's but if he would have been white with that same story, it would have been
He had some plumbing chains or something going on.
Exactly.
And then a lot of wealth and business sense and just a lot of things to pass on to his family for generations.
The reason why that happens though is you got to look at where we came from. We fought just to be free, right?
Right.
So we reached that milestone. Now that we're free, we want to be able to eat at these lunch counters or have our own business. It's always steps that's taken. It's not like, okay, now that I got this business, now I want to have a bunch of them. Let me have this business, let it survive, and you take over. Right. You know, you have to have somebody with the vision and foresight to say, you know what, Pops, you got this going on. I saw these men down here. They got about 3 or 4 of them. Let's try to make this happen. You know, but a lot of times, older cats, they'll push back on that because they so.
Well, and also, you know what I've noticed? What I've noticed with us, we are very we independent to a fault.
I don't need nobody.
We're independent to a fault where I was talking to Brandon about this the other day. I said, if you listen to if you watch those shows like Iconoclast and stuff like that, and you hear guys talking about their old stories, listening to some of the guys coming up who are like Hollywood legends today, them telling the story would literally sound like a nigga in the hood name dropping a bunch of famous people, because that's who they came up around. Like if you hear Steven Spielberg talking about, when I was coming up, it was me, Scorsese, and George Lucas in film school together, and we gonna start a company, and then George Lucas was the best in special effects, I was the best at directing, and Scorsese was the storyteller, and I'm watching like, yo, this is ill, because how many of our black people have stories like that where you like, five legendary people started together, and they built and then branched off into being like some of the biggest people in the world. And I know that's talking about entertainment, but I'm not talking about entertainment. I'm talking about even like you say, everybody knew those mom and pop stores in the hood. What if those mom and pop stores had ever got together and made a chain out of those mom and pop stores? You know what I'm saying? So I think it's even like to that
competition.
We compete with each other instead of try to up it.
Even on the smallest shit, dude. Like the smallest
Kamala
shit.
just said ego. That word just popped up.
Here's the other part of the pie is when I was an insurance agent in Torrance, I used to have a lot of clients in Palos Verdes. I had this one client with a $4 million house. Our policy, I knew I couldn't insure him. I wanted to go to his house any damn way. So I went to his house, had a conversation with him. the one thing he told me, he says, you know, I like you. He goes, it surprises me that you're working for somebody like AAA because you have a lot of skill set and you build a relationship with people. Why don't you start your own business? The one thing that he said, he's like, you know what? I wish your people took more risk. He said, there's not enough of you that take risk. And he says, what I mean by risk is I have this X amount of money and I'm going to invest it. And if I don't succeed, I lose it all. But if I do succeed, I have it all. And he says, you guys play it safe. And like you said, and like kind of like what we just mentioned, we're doing enough to survive.
Yeah.
To be civil. You know, and he goes, I promise you, if more and more black people took risk, he said, you'll see more and more successful black people.
Well, I mean, you got to think, though, is the fact that the security, having the security of even a job that you fucking hate, is a lot safer for people than to feel like I can't be without this because I need to keep up with these things. Like I have these things that I need to pay for. You know what I mean? But the thing is, like you said, like that's what's going to keep us as employers.
Somebody said,
employees.
In the comments, Ron said, all this is by design, it's not 100% on us. I agree with you 100%, Ron. But Kaylin said, the previous generation didn't have the luxury of taking risks. And that's a huge part of it. That's a huge part of it. Because even when you hear Donald Trump tell his rags to riches story, he say, I bought myself from nothing. I started with just a small $1 million loan. How many of us at the table was able to start with $1 million loan in the first place?
Or a $5,000 loan.
Yeah, anything.
Let's go small. That's small.
Yeah. So that is so again.
Whatever we had, they take from us.
So it's not just that it's systematic. It's systematic, but also because of that, we don't get to play by the same rules. Like you said, yes, we should be able to take risks. But since we all, like so many of us are right at the poverty line where it's like, yo, 3 checks don't come in, I'm assed out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I might make it through 1 or 2, but 3, so many of us are right at that line. Like we don't, you kind of can't take that risk, and it sucks that it's that way. Because we're talking about building generational wealth, and I'm not talking about just to be rich. I'm literally talking about just so, like people always talk about nepotism.
Well off though.
Yeah, but they talk about nepotism. And I'm like, we should have a chance to be able to have nepotism.
Because if I would do that, if I was in the position to if I had a business and I was in a position to offer, people who were qualified, I would pick you over this person I don't know because that's what they do. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying like some bottom of the barrel stuff, but just to even answer you guys' point. Okay, so some of you guys know I had a job for the same job for 16 years, the same exact job. In June, stopped working there. School shut down, stopped working there. I started doing things on my own, which is hard, but I loved having my own schedule. And somebody asked me, I can't remember, and I think it was you, Sam. I think it was Sam. He was like, is this enough to make you, is the love of having your own schedule enough to make you want to be an entrepreneur? And I was like, wow, that was a really good question. Like, I thought about it, like, it's so freeing to be able to do what I want, although it's like a hustle to make the money you have to make, but that safety net isn't there. You have to depend on yourself. How many people could just bring, and I was forced. It wasn't like I've been wanting to leave the school for years, but I was forced. Like the school shut down and they sold the building, so it was no like coming back.
Right.
Like I was like,
party
okay,
done.
Yeah, like I've been leaving the school for 5 years. So okay, next year I'm gonna leave. Next year I'm gonna leave. No, the school like does not exist. Like it was like God pushing me out. Like boom, there's nothing else. You gotta go. And that safety net was gone.
You have to hit rock bottom in order to see that you can swim. Right. You know what I mean? You got to get pushed in that deep end. And you listen to a lot of the rags to riches stories that we do have. You look at dude Medea. He's sleeping in this goddamn car. You know what I mean? So that means you got to get up and hustle.
You have no choice. You know where to go, but up.
Speaking of that,
you can't be afraid to fail.
I'm not a fan of Tyler Perry's movies like that, but I have to applaud that he uses a lot of the same actors. Yeah. And I personally know, like even the crew, he does hire a lot of black folks. Like so even though I'm not a fan of the stuff he makes, that's the kind of.
I'm a fan of his infrastructure. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you don't have to necessarily, and that's what I tell people. Like, you don't have to necessarily be a fan of his movie and subject matter. But what he did was smart was he seen there was a whole faction of people that nobody in Hollywood was paying attention to.
Yes.
The 3:30 after church service crowd. Nobody in Hollywood. And that's real. Like, he literally was like, I'm going to make it. Started with the plays. I never forget. I came to my granddad's house, and like the whole family was in the living room watching this VHS ass play.
Right.
Like it wasn't great production value, but they was in there laughing their ass off.
They were doing it in hair shops, all that.
Exactly, because everybody knows a woman like Medea that cuss in church, that act fool, carry a gun. And everybody knows.
People relate to different characters.
They relate to different characters, and everybody knows, like, he took church and brought it to the forefront. He took the black church and brought it to the forefront. So that literally was a whole faction of people who hadn't been catered to in the entertainment world. And now he's built a whole empire because the Have and Have-Nots is a spinoff of that same audience. His movies spin off of that same audience. All his TV shows are spin off. So he keeps feeding them. He's feeding that audience because nobody saw it, nobody cared. So I'm not a fan of his subject matter per se, but I get it and I understand it. But I'm also a fan of his infrastructure. Where he did it, he was like, no, I'm not gonna go to Hollywood. I'm gonna come to Atlanta. I'm gonna build my own stuff. I'm gonna control my stuff. I'm gonna control the people who film my stuff. I'm gonna control my own writers. I'm gonna have my own writing team. Like, I'm a fan of that.
One thing about it though, being in Atlanta is different from being out west. And I noticed a lot of Atlanta people, they support their local ass. I mean, you could be out hustling CDs, T-shirts. I mean, I don't care what it is. If it got Atlanta on it, they gonna support you.
And
they gonna support you. But out here, it's like, man, I don't want none of this stuff. I'm going to the mall.
Yeah.
You know,
that's kind of the Southern mentality, though. I've noticed that in a lot of Southern states I've been in, black people are a lot more supportive of one another. They kind of have to rely on each other because even though it's not 1960 segregated, it's still the mentality, we don't go where they at, they don't come where we at.
Yeah.
And it's still, in a lot of places they don't allow chains. Yeah. Like I know when I went to visit New Orleans, and I mean they're building it up now. Chains. Like we had to go to like another city to go like Dave and Buster's. Like they, they don't allow chain restaurants. Like when you go somewhere, it's some mom and pop restaurant, store, liquor store, something like that. Like you won't drive. You'll see McDonald's, but you have to drive kind of far to see a Starbucks, or you know they got the little coffee shops and stuff like that. And that's important in the South. We have little areas like that, but not huge areas where people are constantly spending money.
Well, I think going back to the not being able to take risks, I think that ties into people not having each other's backs as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you got to think there's a lot of even out here in LA, and it's not black. I mean, I know black people that stay in them, but like how they have like houses that's just for artists, or you know what I mean, something like that. So it's like you're not paying a hell of a lot to live there. But it gives you, you're gonna have a place, you're gonna have a room, and you're still able to work on your dream without having to, be worried about being at that poverty line or or not being able to pay your bills and being kicked out. So I think that goes into I think it all ties into each other, especially with the support, because one of the hardest things to do as a black entrepreneur is to get your people to support your shit.
Yeah.
And they won't support your shit until somebody else big ups your shit and your shit starts getting a little traction. And then they're like, okay, now it will be cool to support. I was like, no. We need your support when we starting this shit off, not when we already got the shit cracking.
And we've seen that so many times with people who like been around, seen us hustling, seen us grinding, but if they see Dame with a certain name, I'm in the studio with a certain name, all of a sudden it's like, oh, you doing your shit, boom, they gonna share that. If they see Daniel, Daniel worked on this, but I'm like, but we've been doing this shit. Yeah. Why does it take you to feel like somebody else, why does it have somebody have to validate us for you to care about it?
That's like, you know how many people I tell about this show right now that that I know if they don't tune in or not, but as soon as we have special guests, a certain someone or anyone that come on, then they watch. You know how pissed I'm gonna be. I mean, I'm glad you watch, but what was that support months ago? I tell everybody, yo, I'm doing this radio show, very proud of it, boo, 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 boo. But it's kind of like, shout out to Maggie who said that we were taught to be for self. And that's the mentality that we have. Everybody, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah, like everybody is at each other's throats, and nobody is trying to, like, first of all, it's enough out here for all of us to eat.
That's the thing. That's the biggest thing. It's enough for all of us to eat because for some reason we always feel like somebody trying to take our spot. You hear that so many times, feeling like, and that ain't just in the entertainment. I'm talking about regular ass job. Niggas be trying to get each other fired just to try to be on the come up for a boss of a company they don't own. Like, because you always feel like somebody trying to take your spot. Like, I can't stand that person who works somewhere who's like the head of a staff who give you a hard time instead of helping you and uplift you and instead of helping you get that promotion. Because I tell you what, I watch what all the other races do for each other in these businesses and in these places, and that's how they operate and that's how they work, and they will get your black ass fired to bring their cousin in there who don't know half of the shit that you know, because that's how they work. We don't operate like that. We be like, nigga, I ain't bringing your black ass up there. You ain't fucking up my job, nigga.
And to that point, I'm a supervisor. When I first got that position, I hired all black people, which you guys probably can know how that turned out. I hired all black people just because I was like, okay, I got in a position of power. I'm hiring all niggas. You know what I mean? Fuck it. And, you know what I mean? All these niggas tell me put them on and keep doing a job. I'm hiring all these niggas. I ain't fuck all that other. Don't worry about the background check. Don't worry about the background check. None of that. I'm gonna get you past that. I got the person in HR. I got you. Hired all niggas, about 15.
Niggas, that's the thing. You got niggas.
You know, those are people who need my help though.
Yeah.
Educated man ain't coming trying to work at no job like that. He's still trying to, like you say, build something.
Right.
But these are people who need me. They out here hanging out. Woo, woo, woo. I can help them. I'm gonna help them. Like I said, mistake. I wish I still had the message. One of them, but this was some years back. One of them threatened me on the Super Bowl because he didn't come to work. Because after the Super Bowl, because you know how people like calling after the Super Bowl after that, I ain't going to work, nigga shit, right? So he gets mad at me because when he comes back to work, I told him, I got to write you up, whatever. Business is business for me. Write you up, whatever you did a no call, no show. You didn't even call. He called like the next day, the Tuesday, saying, I forgot to tell you I wasn't coming to work on Monday. You know what I'm saying? So I wrote him up, whatever.
Same thing.
Wrote him up, whatever. He wanted to kill me. He eventually, you know what I'm saying, faded on off. But next guy, another guy, we go on a Vegas trip, a company sponsored Vegas trip. He gets left. They tell you got to be in the bus. We stayed there from like Friday to Monday morning. Mm-hmm. The only deal was anybody that had to work today, you had to still come to work. You know what I'm saying? You had to go to work. Okay, cool. He misses the bus. He comes to the job later on. Like, he misses the bus. We work, we do everything. He comes to the job later looking for me, trying to kill me because I let the bus leave him. So I'm just saying, that's just some of the experience I had with hiring, like you said.
Kill like murder?
With a gun. I don't know what else you're going to do with that. What else you going to do? You know what I mean? Like, come up there trying to kill me, but I'm just going back to say,
well, I know you were exaggerating.
How our people do it. You know what I'm saying? How our people do it. But I learned from that experience, and then I started saying, you know what? I'm not even going to look at the race part. I'm just going to hire qualified people. I'm going to look at the resume.
Well, somebody said that too. Somebody said that. Angela said in the comments, she said, well, the thing is we have to hire qualified black people.
And that was my problem.
And then somebody said, Rakia said, well, white people hire their friends qualified enough, but we don't get that luxury. We don't get the luxury that white people get to hire.
Let me tell you, the greatest example of that, if Jeff Fisher punk ass just getting fired after he been fucking up for 5 years.
Didn't we just talk about that?
Like he literally had a long ass time to fuck up. Not to do well. Yeah. He fucked up for 5 years.
And we don't get that luxury.
And he's still gonna get paid. He still got
he got a severance package.
He just got before he's gonna get a year pay. He's gonna get a year's pay.
Right. For sitting at home.
For doing whatever he chooses.
So that's the thing, like, no, yeah, we're not afforded this fact, like, we can't fuck up on the job.
What happened to Lovey Smith? He was out of here 2 years.
After he went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, you out of here.
Hey, but one thing, because I was in the same boat. Black people were coming. I was a supervisor somewhere, and black people were coming in, and I was hiring. Like, okay, it's like, well, I did. I was like, well, you know what? I'm gonna give you a second chance. That's what we're gonna do. And Chandra, because she would see me deal with them, I would actually try to almost like mentor them because I had the same issues.
And they were young. You had a lot of young
Yeah,
kids.
I mean,
first,
like
second
I'm talking
jobs.
about like 20. A lot of them, this was their first job. One girl, I remember she showed up to the job interview. She had on the juicy sweats.
Oh God.
She had on the juicy sweats. Little stomach was out, little piercing. I said, "This is what I want you to do. We're gonna reschedule the end of this week, and I want you to come to this interview. I want you to be dressed, have on a nice dress, some heels, and then we're gonna do the interview over." And then when she returned, I ended up hiring her, and I did that to another young dude. He showed up in some jeans and a t-shirt. I said, "This is what I need you to do. Next week we're gonna reschedule the interview. I need you to come in a suit and tie." And then it was hard, but after a while I could see they started to get it. I went through the no call, no shows. And I'm like, look, you can't. I mean, and I had no call, no shows, but on Instagram they had a twerk video, but they were sick.
Turn it up.
So I'm like, I got my supervisor. Somebody didn't leak your twerk video to my supervisor. I said, look, and this is what I always told him this. I would do what I would have your back, no matter what. But I need you to also have my back.
Right.
And you have my back, I have your back. And towards the end, they got that. But it took some because a lot of them were like, I don't have no resume, and I as far as job interviews, a lot of people didn't know what to say.
Experience.
No experience.
And because I was in this rare position, I would tell them, okay, cool, I'm going to ask you this, and this is the way you answer it. Because a lot of times I hire them, but then they would have to go speak to my boss. So so my interview was kind of coaching them
On what to say to your boss.
on what to say to my boss. And sometimes when we get these supervisor positions, I know, because it was a headache in the beginning. I mean, it was like, I was literally going to people's house like, come on, it's time to go to work. I got to come pick you up so you can get to work on time. And it's hard, but that's the only way they're going to learn. Somebody who knows needs to teach them.
Yeah.
And if we don't teach them, then, they go back to gang banging.
And doing whatever. And
And you know what? You make a great point.
Mentorship is very important.
Exactly.
And it reminds me of that video that we saw, and I want to say it was at Target, where the young man was going in for a job interview, and like everybody they were showing him how to tie a tie. He was
Yeah.
looking kind of, they were like, what's going on? And then they ended up kind of, dressing him and talking to him and stuff like that. Everybody doesn't automatically have those skills, especially when you're young. You're 20, this is your first job, you out of high school. They don't teach it in school. They don't teach us interview skills, job skills. You know where I learned that stuff? In college, where I had already had my first job. We had a career center. We had all that stuff. That's what I learned in college. By the time I hit college, I had already had 2 jobs.
Well, you know what's funny?
One of them was with my dad.
What's funny to me is, and I didn't think about this because a lot of things you don't pay attention to till you get older. I learned how to dress for an interview. I learned how to speak for an interview. I learned how to do all that in high school because of the rules that everybody fucking hated at our high school.
Mm-hmm.
So our principal, rest in peace, Marguerite Lamont, our principal, Miss Lamont at Washington, she changed it, and that's when she changed to Washington Prep. And she really went in for the prep. Like, yo, you gonna wear uniforms, you're gonna tuck your shirts in. We even had days where you would come in, like, all right, everybody got to come in just like you're going for an interview.
Mm-hmm.
And we would do mock interviews.
That's awesome.
You know, we would have to dress for interviews, we had to do mock interviews, and they tell us what we did wrong, what we did right, whoa. But in this
She's
trip,
preparing y'all for the
she really was preparing us for the real
And I mean,
world.
that's very, and I'm telling you, I went to like a college prep school, like, it was like a 95% college acceptance rate in my high school, and we didn't have anything like that.
Yeah, but and you know what? It's frustrating when I've been in a situation where I was in a world of unknown, and black people who were around me wouldn't take me in and show me, and that's when I became a police officer. And I'm out of college, a young black dude. This thing, look, I'm gonna be, first I want to show them, like, black people could be good enough to patrol our own neighborhoods. I'm gonna be out here. I'm gonna be fair. I'm gonna make sure that my people are protected, no corruption. I'm thinking, like, I got this laid out. No one told me what I was gonna deal with. Look, I was expecting some type of racism. I didn't go in there completely naive.
Right.
But what I didn't expect was
The amount.
the Uncle Toms that was willing to sell me out.
Oh yeah.
And that to me, like it's one thing to know where your enemy is coming from, but this whole new Uncle Tom,
That's the crabs in the barrel shit.
the black dude that would sell you out to look good for the white man, that was new to me.
Right.
But all the other senior black officers who were at 20, 25 years on, they knew about this type of behavior.
Well, and let me
it
tell
was
you
common, and no one told me
Right,
anything.
but let me tell you what's crazy about that. Again, like I said, my high school prepared me for so much because she even would have these conversations with us. She would take all of the seniors into the auditorium and tell us like, y'all gotta be better than everybody else. But then also tell us why she gotta be better. You know, tell us why we gotta be better. Tell us the obstacles that we gonna face going against. You know, she like, look, you can't, if you got an A, if you got a straight A's on your application and they got straight A's, you're not getting picked. You have to be better.
Yep.
Like if they got a 4.0, you got to take AP classes and have a 4.3 to be considered.
You always have to be better, and sometimes your better isn't good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that somebody said that it was something I saw, I can't remember what it was. It was about it was a meme of comparing President Obama and Donald Trump. And it was something like, you know, all the things that he had accomplished prior, but like all Donald Trump did was he was like a rich white man. And these are the same.
Yeah.
Like that's basically all he did.
Like on paper, they're not equal.
Yeah.
They're not equal, but
Somehow it didn't matter.
it doesn't matter.
Didn't matter.
In society, they are equal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or no, he's better. White is better.
Also, too, I'm kind of piggyback. So, a lot of our black youth, too, when they finish college, they don't know what the hell is next. And if you go to places like Enterprise, you get these large companies, right? So, like Enterprise, if you go to Enterprise, especially in Southern California, you'll see a lot of young black people working for Enterprise.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because what happens is we go through college just saying get through college, and then when we get this degree, there's no vision. We had no vision in college as to what we were really going to do. I just got this degree. So a company like Enterprise, they prey on that. So they go into these colleges and they do these fairs and they say, I'm going to take you because I can pay you $36,000 a year, and that's more money than you've ever seen before in your life.
With a degree.
And, with the degree. And so now you get caught up in being someone who makes $36,000, you in debt thousands and thousands of dollars, but yet because you're making $36,000, you know what I'm saying, and you don't have much bills yet, you get caught up and sucked up into that.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right, man. So the thing that it keeps circling back to, the main thing is education. We have to educate each other.
Proper
we have to educate
education.
the older people. Proper education.
Proper
we got to
education.
educate those unders. We got to mentor education. Jackie Chandra.
Yeah.
What we got next? What we talking about next?
Oh, you know what we didn't talk about? It's kind of sad, so I don't want to spend that much time on it. I don't think.
Oh man.
American
I'm
Dad, y'all.
convinced. Let me tell y'all something. I'm convinced that 2016 is a drunk driver. That motherfucker just killing
going
everybody. Like I'm convinced that
everything that could go wrong.
Like literally everything.
this year has been insane. I'm like, y'all took Alan Thicke.
Like when that came from nowhere.
Did y'all know that Alan Thicke?
69.
Did y'all know that Alan Thicke wrote the theme song to Different Strokes and he sang on it too?
Yeah, that's
and he
insane.
wrote the theme song to Wheel of Fortune. I was like, yo, that's where.
I didn't know the Will Fortune.
I knew it was
When Quincy said different strokes, of course I
That's
could
him
hear it.
singing it, but once you heard it, you can
Yeah,
actually,
you can actually hear it.
that's his voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so funny because to see Robin Thicke, because that's who we see more now. You see like that. You see him, and you see Alan Thicke in him. It was kind of sad.
No, it's very sad. And they said like even when he collapsed, they said he was still alert and talking to his son on the stretcher, so they thought he was gonna be okay.
Yeah.
They thought he was gonna be fine. He went to the hospital, and I guess he had another heart attack or something. It's just super sad. Like Alan Thicke, RIP, prayers to his family, and to hell with
I just
2016.
found that out today.
We only got a few more days.
Did
Y'all
y'all watch
we survived.
Growing
Good lord.
I watched my
I
Oh, that
faithfully
was
watched
the show.
Oh, y'all love
Oh
Growing
yeah.
Pains.
Growing Pains was the show.
Yeah, so you know, like you said, you don't want to spend a lot of time on, it, but yeah, I do think it's very
What?
sad.
Oh, okay.
2016 goes down.
Yeah, 2016 can go straight to hell. In the words of Monica, 2016
Right,
can go straight
Monica.
to
Shout
hell.
out to Monica.
Shout out to Monica. But
Oh no. Okay, I thought it was fake.
So what's up?
Okay, so we talked a little bit about this in the group. Do you guys remember the post about Nicole Richie? Not Nicole Richie. I don't know.
Lionel Richie's
daughter. How they said that Sophia Richie is her name. That's the one who they were talking about. She looks
being black or something.
yeah, like she gets a lot of people like
Say racist
say
shit in
racist
front of
stuff in front of her because they and then in the comments people were like she's not black.
Okay, so just to give everybody a little context about what's going on, Lionel Richie's daughter, first of all, you almost don't get no blacker than Lionel Richie in his original Jew-fro.
Jew-fro?
Yeah, because he got that old school, like, that's not like the real black man fro, that's like kind of like the Jewish fro. But Lionel Richie's daughter, she looks, if you look at her, it's funny because even when you mix and you look white, you kind of can't, that black come through, that shit slide through.
Yeah.
But if you look at her,
She got certain traits.
she got certain traits. You look at that first look, she look like she could be white, but
Yeah.
then you look into her face, she got that Michael Jackson second nose,
Yeah.
and you know she got real lips.
Yeah.
So you like, oh, she's black. But she said because she looks the way she does,
She's not black.
no, because she looks, a lot of people say racial shit in front of her. But we had a lot of people saying,
That she's not black.
yeah, no, she's not black. They said if you don't, this is a new one. This is a new one in the world of hotepness for me, y'all.
Okay.
But they said if you don't look black or you grew up rich, like it's the combination. If you grew up rich and you don't look black,
You're not black.
you're not black.
Wow.
Hey.
Well, that's a little bit different than what they used to say with the what was it? The one
So they
drop?
took away her blackness.
The one drop.
One drop.
It's out.
I
So,
guess that rule is over.
If I don't think you look black, if I don't think you look black and you grew up rich, then you're not black. That's it. No, that's it. Don't matter that your dad is fully black. So you're literally half black, right? Like
Somebody says she's making herself look white though. Cute girl with the blonde hair totally
Who said
makes her
that?
look like she's assimilating with the whites. Okay, I don't care. She's still black.
Yeah, I saw
Who
them
said
comments
that?
on that.
She said this is Alicia Latanya. Alicia, okay, even if she wear blonde hair, she's still black. I don't give a fuck. She's still black.
So if you don't
Like,
look black,
It's
not black.
that because you guys, I know some mixed black people who are naturally blonde.
Yeah.
So did she dye?
Is that the criteria? Well, it looks like.
I mean, I don't give a damn if she is dyeing her hair
but that's
black.
what
She's
I'm
still a
saying.
black
What's
woman.
the criteria?
If any black woman we know in our family dye their hair blonde, does that make them white?
No.
Do that mean they assimilate into
Yeah,
white?
I know a lot of
That's
black
crazy.
chicks with blonde hair.
A lot of black girls with blonde hair. It's just because she's a light-skinned black girl with blonde hair that it don't count. But how many black girls in the hood do we know with blonde hair? So I can't even use that excuse to be like, oh, she making herself, she assimilating to white.
So Mary J. Blige?
Exactly. So is Mary J. Blige not black because she's rich She
She
and
not
she
no
got
more.
blonde hair?
She not no more. We have disowned Mary J. Blige for singing the Hillary Clinton.
Oh yeah, that's true.
If the officer stop you.
Yeah, she was going through something.
That was hard.
She got a nigga that's trying to kidnap her Grammys and all
Hey.
that other shit.
Yeah.
Hillary was sitting there
Her
looking like,
Grammys.
well,
Yeah.
this nigga sure got a beautiful voice.
That was
What-
2016, huh?
Yeah.
Well, like
Well, what I don't like about it is, I don't like we already deal with enough of divisiveness.
it's very divisive, and it invalidates biracial people.
Exactly.
Who are black. I mean, because literally they are half black. And I remember when I went to Hawaii and I visited, I was on like a tour. So we went to like President Obama's like home, first like apartment, his little job and stuff like that. And the guy was like, people were kept saying, oh, he's the first black president, he's the first black president. He was like, he's our president too. Like he's half white. You know what I mean? So I don't think we should invalidate any side of a person. And then if the issues are that they're experiencing racism, which I said as a biracial person, I can imagine it could be even worse. You're not accepted by one side, another side is not accepting you or whatever. Then, like, how much more divisive can we be by saying she's not black because she's blonde or she's rich? Oh, then I got money. So if I was poor and blonde, then
Like, what are all these
What are these criteria? Like,
what are
what
these
are
new qualifiers
Yeah.
to being black? Like,
Yeah.
what are these? And again, that's that bullshit because it's the people wanting to say I'm blacker than you.
Yes, because
Like that's
the one comment on the actual post that I saved, the girl was like, but her dad is Lionel Richie and he's black. Like she kept saying that. She was like, but her dad is black. But she's literally half black.
And she
But
said, so what?
she
You
is
can't,
black.
and the girl was
She ignored it though.
So I'm questioning whether black people can have blonde hair. Dan, can you confirm what color are these kids?
We see a bunch of kids with blonde hair who are black.
Yeah, just black.
Just black.
Not just
They
black. Like your mom is black and your dad is black. They're no.
I mean, albinos are black too.
Yeah, well, we come in all. The crazy thing is, black people come in all shapes, color, sizes,
Yes.
hair colors, eye color, all of that.
Okay, question.
Okay.
So we are the only race that can have the lightest of the light and the darkest of the dark, right?
Yes.
So if someone is light, but they don't look black, does that now make them white? That's the opposite, right?
You just fucked my head up.
Yeah, wait, what you just said?
I took that as you can pour bleach on a black t-shirt, and is it gonna be black or is it gonna be white?
Yeah, exactly.
What happened to the? What happened to
Sharon, did you get me? Wait, Sharon, did you get me? Thank
Basically,
you.
what I'm saying is just the opposite of what she's saying. She said because she's light, because she doesn't have dark skin and she has blonde hair, she's not black. So if you are light skinned, really, really light, if you are a black person that has really, really light skin, does that also mean that you're not black? Like how
Oh,
does
I see
that
what
work?
you're saying.
Yeah.
Because, like, in regards to this criteria, yeah,
Right.
I think that's. But first of all, again, it's all fucking dumb.
It's very ridiculous.
Because
Yeah.
at some point, you're black. You're gonna get treated like you're black, and somebody gonna realize you're black. So like, it's dumb, and we have to stop this. I'm blacker than you, because like I think to me, this is one of the problems and situations I have with I call them the extra woke crew. The people who woke, who feel like they know more about blackness than you do, instead of trying to bring you along and teach you about blackness, they just want to say, your dumb ass don't know about blackness, so you ain't black. You ain't black enough to speak on this situation. You ain't black enough to comment on this thread. You ain't black enough to have a voice. You ain't, you know what I'm saying? So I think we have to stop that, because I think this is an extension of that. Because the girl who said it originally was so like confident in saying the shit, like, yeah, if you ain't grow up looking black and you rich, you can't be black. Woo-woo. There's a whole faction of people who believe this. And I think it's very damaging, and I think it's very dangerous. It's a very dangerous state to get into. It's a very dangerous place to go into.
Yeah, because at what point are we equating our blackness with the amount of melanin we have?
But what happened to the whole mama named Clay? I'm gonna call him Clay mentality. Like, so if he,
I don't know. If you
mama
consider,
black, if
well,
daddy
then,
black,
but I think that's it. But then you get Rachel does all of it all, who's not black, but she considers herself black. So
She identifies as black.
she identifies as black.
She's
So
trans black.
she's trans black. So
But
then
do y'all call her black though?
I don't call her anything.
Rachel, you know.
She wasn't born black.
I don't need to talk to her. I never
No, she wasn't black. She just decided.
Okay,
Like, she decided she was black.
But see, we don't need to decide to be white.
That's what I'm saying. She just decided. So even Lionel Richie's white-looking daughter don't get to decide to be white, because the people saying racial shit in front of her clearly still affects her. It's still like, if she really thought she was assimilating to white, she wouldn't have made the comment, because she would have cared that people said racial shit in front of her.
Is it because she didn't grow up with the black experience? Like, what is
They said it's because we told you. They said she grew up rich. She grew up rich, and she doesn't look. She looks white.
That is the most.
So Will Smith kid's not black now?
Exactly. Who?
So Will Smith kid's not
That's
black
what I'm
now?
saying, yeah.
They grew up rich as fuck.
They have to look white.
They have to look white. So it's the combination. They
Oh,
rich,
you have to grow up rich and look white.
rich and look white.
Yeah.
This is a new combination. This is the new
Your
one.
eye roll was.
I know we all confused as hell because it's dumb.
Stupid. It's stupid.
It's dumb,
Yeah.
and I hate it. And I hate that we as black people accept this dumb shit that's happening around us. Like Damien always say, you gotta hold motherfuckers accountable.
Yeah, so that was what was going on, and I thought it, as usual, it's always something that's interesting.
And it came from a black girl.
And you what?
It came from a black girl, yes, it came
Yeah.
from a black girl.
So Hotep girls, we got Hotep girls.
No, they're not called Hotep girls.
What they called?
They're cause extreme feminists.
No, that
No, cause that ain't no
anything to
feminist
do
shit.
with
That's some
feminism.
black shit. That's some
Yeah.
colorist shit.
Wait, no.
That doesn't have anything to do with feminism.
I don't know.
They call people that need to mind their own motherfucking business.
Right.
I don't know. I remember. Look.
And it's always the ugly motherfuckers that got something to say. Your motherfucking ass ain't black. We purple.
Jeez.
Yeah, well.
Hey, Dave, didn't you say you had something you want to talk about?
You did?
Oh, you did?
Wait, what was it?
George Bush does not care about black people.
Uh-oh.
Okay, I got a question. Well, here's a scenario. A friend of mine hit me up and asked me about somebody that I know. Not that I'm a close friend of, but somebody I know. They know, so we're mutual friends on Facebook. And I kind of gave the guy a good word, like, yeah, he's a cool dude, whatever, you know. I don't really see anything wrong with him. And then they hit me up with a screenshot of some complete fuckery. So, it was like, so, these are the type of people you say are cool? What's up with your judgment of character?
Oh, shit.
Oh, Lord.
Oh God.
And that made me step back and think, like, you know what? Maybe I'll be giving people too many passes. You know, looking at someone and hoping that they'll do better. I can't vouch for you. I'm not vouching for anybody anymore who I know is on any type of fucking.
But you didn't think they were.
But wait, yeah.
But did
did
you think they were on some
did you
fucking
know
reason?
that-
Well, I know that they've said or done some things in the past, and I thought that they was getting their shit together, but that wasn't the case.
Okay.
Well, Dave, I have a question. Vouching for in what way?
You know, like if you
I
come to
put it
me
in your
and
word.
say, I see you and Dame are cool. You know, he's your, you know Dame? I see you guys are mutual friends on Facebook. I'm like, yeah, I know Dame. Dame's a cool dude. You know, I know Dame's a cool dude.
Right.
But this, I've not heard of any kind of fuckery going on about that.
About that.
He's nothing.
As far as you know, he's a cool dude.
As far as I know, he's a cool dude. I'm like, yeah, I'll fuck with him. But then, if somebody turns around and shows me some shit or tells me some shit that the dude did, and then like, damn, dude, you a real bad judge of character. You know, it's like
Because they know Dame to be.
because they know this, they know that this nigga just pulled some real fuck shit.
And they know you to be a stand-up
And,
guy.
yeah, and they be like, okay, something's not sitting right with this picture. We don't know you to be this type of dude.
Well,
deal
let me
with
tell
this
you.
type of guy.
Let me tell you something. I've been in that situation because a lot of times.
I just want to know how would y'all deal with it? Because I know I'm not vouching for a motherfucker no more than I know. Ain't no
That you know though, that you know.
Yeah, but I know that in the past, I mean recent past, I mean, it could be like something like I got homeboys who was wild. I was wild when I was young, but I done changed. You know what I mean? So I've shown a history of being who I am today.
Right.
Not who I was back then. I always believe in judging people by who they are today.
Well,
you know,
I'll tell you, for me, because I've seen this. People will see somebody and they will hit me up and be like, "Oh, I see you mutual friends. I think he cute. I want to talk to him." Woo, woo, woo. So this is me, and anybody will tell you, I'll be like, "All right, well, I know him to be cool." Like, but I don't know how he is in relationships. But I don't. You have to put a disclaimer on it because people will take you at your word and lightweight blame you for the shit. Like they were like, so me, I say, you could talk to him. Like if it's somebody who do got fuckery in their past, I say, you could talk to him. But if I was you, I would take my time.
But see, women are different. We'll be like, no, he da 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 da, he da 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 da, just to let you know. He da 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 da. Like women will do that. Like
right,
I know guys,
but
for men, like because I don't know you guys don't want to seem like you dirty macking or whatever.
Exactly.
And I also know too, like even though you might know some stuff about the dude, men act different around. Like he might be cool. I think we always have this example. I don't know what the example is. It may. I don't know it may be a personal example. That's why. But you are okay with this person. Like I'm alright with you. I'm alright with you. But maybe you are a jerk. Or maybe you treat other people a certain way. So I tell you, he's cool with me, or she's cool with me. So that's all I can say.
Yeah,
I can give you that disclaimer, but you always gotta add. But I don't know.
Well, yeah, even when I vouch for people, I say I'm like from what I know. Like you have to use very specific language when you vouch for people, especially people that are only like Facebook acquaintances.
Yes.
Because this is really becoming a real new thing. Is like people who you only
We
know
saw
via
your
Facebook.
mutual friends.
Yeah, like so, like a lot of times there's people you really don't know in real life, or you kind of know them. So you do have to tread lightly because even if I vouch for you, I'm vouching for you with the disclaimer, so can't nobody say I threw them on the deep end like, oh, he a good nigga, you should fuck with woo. And then you kind of find out it's all this other shit.
Because
I say all the time, and then I tell them, I say now, if you decide to deal with them, please leave me out of it.
Yeah, you got to.
That's the next thing. I'm like, look, we mutual friends, and I'm gonna tell you this is if somebody who I'm vouching for in a good way, I'm like, I'll fuck with them, woo woo woo. But if y'all decide to deal with each other, then cool. Then after that, leave me out of it. I don't want to be in the middle of y'all relationship. I don't want you hitting me up because every time something go wrong, I don't want you hitting me up like, oh, he did this. Like, I don't want to be in the middle, especially if I'm cool with him too. Now on the flip side, if it is somebody I know who got some fuckery, and I'm not trying to really dirty Mac, I do use kind of coded language to kind of let you know that you probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
So I'll be like, all right, look, from what I know, you cool, but I don't know if you should fuck with him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
See, then I mean, tell correct me if I'm wrong. You're married, so does that change the dirty Mac?
Well,
like
it should change the dirty Mac, but it wouldn't change dirty Mac in the dude's eye.
Okay.
Like it'll change the for the woman asking, it'll probably be like, she know I ain't trying to get the draw,
right?
So she gonna get the truth,
but
the whole truth number.
Like, no.
But the dude's like, oh nigga, why you trying to stop me? I'm like, I'm not trying to stop nothing, but I know if I'm more of a friend to the person asking than to the person that's trying to get.
I'm gonna be real.
I'm gonna be real with that person. Like
exactly.
if it's somebody who are like, yo, we go way back. And I can't let you put yourself in that position, so I'm gonna just tell you this. But even when I tell you this, I don't never down nobody to the point where you be like, hey man, fuck that nigga. I never do that. I never be like, yeah, fuck that nigga. I just be like, all right, cool. Like if you want to deal with them, cool, but just tread lightly. That's all I say.
I mean, and, you know, for some people, really appreciate the truth. Like, well, I specifically asked a friend about like my ex, and she was like, oh yeah, he cool. This fool saw crows like following him around, and he was like psycho. Like, please tell me. She's like, oh yeah, I knew he was a little crazy.
How do I do with you?
Whoa.
I'm pretty. No, but Chandler, I just tell him he ain't shit.
Yeah, that's the narrative.
It's pretty much
that's
straight
the
to the
narrative.
point. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I mean, the thing about this, and one thing, you know, in my lack of dick integrity era of life, what I realized is that when you ain't shit, you hang out with other niggas that ain't shit. And, you know, I'm saying mostly. And when you out of that, it's kind of hard for you to be around guys that way because you no longer operate that way.
See, that's why she got at me like.
That's not you.
Yeah.
This don't
but
add
then
up.
another thing too.
And sometimes I think the reason why women are a little bit better off socially in dealing with relationships and things because they have a bigger support system. Men, we're a little different with one another. You know, we don't really check each other like we should. You know, like, you know, if anytime I see a homie and I know he got a good woman and I think he getting ready to fuck that off on some temporary ass, I'm like, dude, you got a good woman at home. Don't blow it on her. And I think we have to get to that point without, you acting like a bitch or you this or you that. Or you just hating because you can't get it or whatever. Like, no, dude, you got a good woman at home. Your shit is doing good. And we need to kind of like check each other like that. And I think that's the thing that, you know, if you see a dude that's continued to fall off and some, you know, he's fucking up, I think that us, if he's in your circle, we should will him in and say, look, dude, you fucking up.
Well, if he's distant circle, like he's not
then don't
tight circle.
Then stop fucking with him.
You know him, but you don't know him well enough to be like, yo, I don't even know your mama name. I mean,
Right.
That's how far removed we are, but still it's somebody that you like, you know, a dude seemed kind of cool, and you feel like you should be able to be like, yo, you know what, dog, you got a bad name right now. you need to ease up. You know,
Right.
you got a bad name right now. You doing some real stupid ass shit.
Well, and that's my thing because,
What you do.
and you know, I've been asking people too, and you know, this is a good time to bring it up. Like, how do you broach that subject? Like, how do you broach that subject without one offending the person or looking like you trying to shit on them at that moment? Because I know that's a very tricky thing to be like, hey yo, nigga, you looking crazy out here, but like, I just want to tell you because you my boy. You know what I mean?
See,
Because
and that's the thing. I think that people have to understand. If you are genuinely friends with someone and they are speaking to you in a manner that is receptive, and you are a receptive person, you should be receptive, then go ahead. Because again, it's all about intent. I'm not gonna tell you you looking crazy out here. I have nothing to gain or lose.
right.
Only thing I have to gain is we're friends, and I don't want you to keep looking stupid. So if you can't accept that from me, then I mean honestly, I've cleared my conscience by
Well,
saying.
but I say that because I know like there's been times like say for example some shit come up, right, and somebody hit me in the inbox like who said this and that about me, nigga, I can't believe they said this, and I'm like, well, I kind of can.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I kind of can believe it,
yeah.
but then at that point I'm like, I want to talk to them and tell them like, and I guess this is the part like Q said, and even to Damien's point, that we kind of got to fix it. At that point, we should be able to engage in a dialogue where I could tell them like,
Yes.
all right, look, my man, this is what's happening.
This is
what's
and
going
this is why
on.
people see
And
this
this is
way.
why people see
because
this
you
way.
should be able
But
to.
now the flip side of that, because we even had this conversation earlier about people having drama around them.
Mm-hmm.
How do you broach the subject with somebody who you like don't know if they'll accept it? If you're like, hey yo, my nigga, you are drama, and they like, no, I'm not.
I'm not.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how
I
do you?
think-
So how do you have that conversation with somebody if you just like, hey yo, I think this is because like I tell you, I had somebody in my life who had drama all the time to the point where I thought I had drama in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Like no bullshit. Like they had so much drama until I thought, but then when they removed themselves, every bit of drama that was in my life was gone. And I was like, oh shit. I was just kind of getting caught up in the rapture of they bullshit because they was my boy, and by default, I'm around and I got his back. So I'm like, why we always getting in the fights with niggas? Why we always getting chased by niggas? Like, why? And I'm like, and I thought it was my bullshit. But then I realized, like, oh no, that wasn't my bullshit. But the only reason I realized it wasn't my bullshit because I had to stop and look at myself.
Yeah.
I had to look at myself and say, am I causing all this shit going on around me? And I know a lot of people, and sometimes, and I tell people all the time, sometimes it's hard to see shit while you're in it.
Yes. For
You know what I mean? Like while you're in it, like while you're actually in it, it's hard to see shit. Cause I've had people who've been in the exact situation that we're talking about, and they be like, hell yeah, nigga, that shit is crazy. I can't believe he's doing that. And I'm like, nigga, what?
It's you.
You know, but because they're in it, like, cause of course they see it in somebody else, cause they take, you know, you taking yourself out of your shoes, so you see it, and you're like, damn man, that nigga doing this and doing that, and I'm looking at you like,
But
nigga,
see,
you doing the same thing?
to your question, just real quick, to your point, if you're doing the work, they have to meet you halfway. You can't predict somebody's response or if they're receptive to you or not. As a friend, you can only do what you can and bring it to them. Like what you said. Well, I can't believe such and such said this about me. Well, you know what? Let me be honest. Because a lot of times it's in how you say it. And a lot of times what we do is we start exploding during a situation. Yeah, I do believe it because you whack, you foul, and this is January 1988, this is what you did to me.
Right.
But if you sit there like, look, no, I actually do believe it because like in all these years I've seen XYZ or I've started to notice XYZ. A lot of times it's in how we say it, and a lot of times we don't take the time to say it in the proper manner. Because a person will be receptive they should be receptive.
Okay, well let me ask you
Because
this. Well, let me ask you this, Chad.
It's all about your delivery.
At what point? And I'm not saying that nobody's really a lost cause.
Right.
I don't want to.
Some people are.
Some people
are.
Okay, so that's
about receptiveness because I got a best friend, man. One of my really good friends who I constantly say, bro, you looking a certain way out in these streets. You looking a certain way out in these streets. And at some point, you have to have self-respect for how you're looking. And as somebody who loves you and cares about you, bro, I'm telling you the real, bro. It disappoints me.
Right.
Because I thought me and him moved the same as men, the way we move. But I saw that the way he's handling a certain situation, he and I are very different. and he's continuing to take.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. So when do you decide? So when do you decide it's between like this person is making mistakes or it's a character flaw? Like how do you know what I'm saying? How do you know like hey man, I think he's a good dude, but he fucking up because of this, that, and the third. Or if you like, that's just a fucked up person. Like how do you know the difference?
Once you told them and you can still see that they're doing the same thing. And we're adults. At one point, we're not about to repeat ourselves too many times.
Yeah. Right.
Especially if you're doing the same thing. If you're doing the same thing, it's like, how many times do I have to beat myself up over? Because I know I look at myself. Am I constantly doing the same thing? I'm constantly effing up. Like if it's the same thing, or am I just messing up on different things? Like a lot of people don't do the work for themselves. So when you kind of show them on the outside looking in, and that helps them to do the work, and you see that they're changing and improving, then that's not a lost cause. But when you see you're continuously saying the same thing, even if it's
and it goes to the flip side. And it goes to the flip side because we've seen situations where you talking to like, because you know I don't want this to be about just men fucking up.
Right.
Like we had the flip side situation where it's a woman and you telling her either she's fucking up, like yo you're not doing right by your man, you're not doing right, like she's fucking, or you like he's not for you, he's not the guy, and she's just like nigga fuck what you talking about, this gonna be my dude.
Then at this point, then you let that go. Then you go on and enjoy your life. Now what you're not gonna do though is you're not gonna come to me and you're not gonna complain about it after. Right. After I've told you and warned you about the stuff that you're messing up with, then you're not gonna come to me. You're not gonna complain to me.
Well, and you know, and I think one of the bigger problems, Damien, and all of this is, we have too many people who are afraid to just straight up tell somebody that they're close to that they're wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I think we have too many times where we just like, hey my G, you wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's easier to let them vent. Like, sometimes somebody vent and you listening to the story. Have you like somebody been telling the story like and I did it and you listen like, nigga, you tripping, you wrong. Like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of times you let them vent tell that story and you'll side with them or be like, yeah, man, that shit crazy.
You
She
know
bugging. She
what?
tripping.
That's never been my problem.
Like
my issue is I'm not that close to the dude.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm not.
But it got you looking crazy still.
Yeah, and so it's like for me, if you my boy, I'm gonna let you know. And that's why most people talk to me. I'm easy to talk to, and they know I'm gonna give them an unbiased opinion. If you fucking up, I'm like, you dead ass wrong. You need to apologize. But if you right, I'm like, you know what? Well, this person needs to grow or whatever, or leave the person alone, whatever. But I'm gonna let you know straight up, off the bat, you fucking up.
Right.
Whatever you talking about right now.
Well, because I do think that's
everybody needs a friend like that.
Everybody needs that friend that's gonna tell you.
So, as you guys know on the panel, you know, I work in social work, and every day I have to deal with clients, and I have to tell them a percentage of their life of what they're doing wrong. And so, the one thing that I've learned is that when you are telling someone about a problem, it's very easy to tell them about a problem. Hey, you doing wrong, you fucking up. But it's even more important when telling somebody they're fucking up that you actually understand what the fucking problem is. If you don't understand what the problem is, you ain't gonna never really connect when you're telling that person that they're wrong. And if I feel like you connect, if you're telling me that I'm wrong, but I actually feel like you can maybe understand my problem, then I'm more inclined to actually listen to you. And so I don't think that enough people actually, so if I'm telling my boy wrong and I see that he's continuously fucking up, then I'm gonna be like, yo, like we need to talk. So not only are you fucking up, but tell me about what you actually dealing with. Like, why do you keep making the same mistake? Is there something about you, your past, or whatever else it is? Because it's very easy to say, dude, you fucking up. But at what point in time do you fucking up gets tiring? So I think, too, it's important that if this is a close friend, rather than just saying, man, you fucking up for like the fifth or sixth time, bro, talk to me. Like, what's really the issue?
Well,
right?
normally
like,
that's how it goes, because
you know,
it starts off as, let me tell you what happened, or what's going on. People I deal with, I know. You know what I mean? I really know these people. So I know any situation that's going on because I'm that dude that somebody's going to talk to.
Hold on, real quick. I got to address something in the comments.
Here we go.
Rakia said, I would love if men would see how men treat women as a character flaw. Fuck that.
What?
That's bullshit. Hold on. That's bullshit. I can't run with that because every man who has done something wrong to a woman has not been a character flaw. Sometimes the thing that a man does to a woman has been a fucking reaction. Some things are reactionary, and some things are like, the shit that I did to women when I was 22, I'm not gonna do now at the age I'm now. So like there's growth there. So I can't say that the way a man treats a woman is a character flaw. I think a person's character is a character flaw. Because if that's the case, then we also have to say that the way women treat men also should be seen as a character flaw. So if that's the case, everybody who has ever cheated, everybody who has ever done anything wrong, been dishonest, or been selfish in a relationship, that means all of us, because that means all of us really got character flaws in a relationship at some point, no matter how perfect we think we are. At some point, we all have done something that could be considered a character flaw in a relationship. Then we all fucked up.
Chandra, you guys.
I have nothing to say. Dan, you covered it. Thanks.
Yeah, I feel the same way, Dane. I mean, life is growth. You
Right.
know?
Absolutely.
Unless you're a dick.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. So, no,
wow.
dicks grow too, so we're gonna go with that. But throughout life, I've done plenty of bullshit that I would never do right now. You know, and it was a character flaw at that time. You know, I was immature. I was selfish. You know, I just didn't give a fuck. So, yeah, at that time it was a character flaw, but you can't tag me with that same.
No, because the character, to me,
Yeah.
character flaws don't change.
Yeah.
If that's your character, it don't
That's
change.
who
you are.
That's who you are.
You are.
Yeah.
period.
Like if it's a character flaw, to me that's some shit that don't change.
That means
Okay, so
every way you treat a woman
let's
from the
define
time
it.
you're 16 to the time you're married, you're gonna continue to treat them the same way, and then that's us only putting that on women, on men
Men.
to women. That means every way that a woman has treated a man from the time she was 16 or 15 or whatever to the time she's married is gonna be the same, and that's inaccurate.
Yeah, like I just can't roll with that because it's nonsensical. Only because, like I said, there's growth, people change. Like
Relationships,
like
change,
even
all those things.
like even for me, we've had this discussion before. When I was younger, I was like the most faithful, be faithful. I don't want nothing but one girlfriend, and one girlfriend fucked that up. She cheated on me, and then I was like, well, fuck everybody, and that changes. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like, so then my character changed, and then I started behaving different and treating shit different to protect myself. You know what I'm saying? And then so on. But then when you heal and you grow,
Right.
and you and I think honestly, as fucked up as some people are and have been, I think everybody should have a chance to change. I'm not saying that everybody's going to,
Yeah.
but I feel like everybody should have a chance to change. Because sometimes,
It
like,
shouldn't
because
always-
Brandon will tell you, I'm like one of the most optimistic dudes. I tell Brandon, I'm like, I don't know, you know, I just feel like everybody got a chance to be a better human
That's
being.
me too, Dane. That's
Everybody, you know what I'm saying? Everybody got a chance.
Like,
to be,
and then I'm the type of person that you can mess up 10 times, and I'm still like, you know what? Number 11 is gonna be cool. He gonna do right. Like, not in a relationship.
Well, the reason, because I'm the same way, but the reason why a lot of us that way because we know we've been through that.
Yeah,
You know,
that's true.
We've
been
been
through
through
those
the change.
changes.
Like I look back, I'm 38, and I look at me back at 30. I wouldn't hang out with me.
right.
Man, I was an a-hole.
And when Dane was saying, like, when you in the moment, when I was cheating, I really felt like the victim. Like, I really felt like I felt like, you know what, she's treating me wrong. Like, I really felt like the fucking victim when I was cheating.
Yeah, because it's that rationalized,
Yeah,
you know, you rationalize shit.
and what you don't realize, and anytime you do anything to somebody, you have to understand that whether it's something, because people don't go from love to I want to destroy your life like that. Right? Now, if she or he is that way, then you miss some red flags
Somewhere.
Somewhere.
You ignored
Mr.
something
Crow.
somewhere. Yeah.
Mr. Crow.
because you know just me. My own personal situation, she would do anything for me to, nigga, I want to destroy everything you work for. And as much as I tried to play victim, like, hey, y'all, you know, she did this to me, she did this, I had to at some point get to say, what did I do to get her there?
Yeah.
She didn't wake up and become that way. I did something to get her there.
And that's accountability
yeah.
on your part. You
Yeah.
took stock.
But you know what? It took me to lose everything to get there.
Well, still, you
And-
got
and-
you
Some
didn't play
people
the
never
victim.
do. Some
You
people
didn't play
never
the
get
victim
there.
after you lost everything.
Yeah.
You had to look at yourself and
Right.
be like, you know what? At one point in time, this woman was like this. I kept doing this. You know, every time you fuck up, that's a tally on the wall.
Yeah.
And they not forgetting that shit. They might let it go, because it's just too hard to argue about the same thing over and over and over and over again. But it's every time it's a mark, it's a mark. So you deflating their heart or you harden their heart. You know what I mean? And it's like once they blow up on your ass,
It's a wrap.
That's it.
Yeah.
it's over with, and then you gotta sit back and be like, God,
Yeah.
and
And you can't go, oh, well, she did this, she did.
Mm-mm.
Oh, well, you know, she took it back to my car. You have to look at
What made her take it back to your car?
What made
Well,
her take it back to your
A
car?
friend of mine wrote a song a while ago, and I always thought, I was like, yo, this is one of the realest songs I've ever heard in my life. He wrote a song called When a Woman Stops Crying. Like, it ain't when she crying, when a
Man,
woman stops.
I don't even need to hear the lyrics.
Right?
I
When a woman
right,
stops
right.
crying,
Tread light.
you best
Right.
believe
It's a wrap.
it's over. You like he said when, and I was like, you know what? That's right, because he like, have you ever been in an argument with a woman, and she mad, and she goes from the crying to the half laugh. she like crying, she like, okay, okay.
I got you.
Yeah.
Right? Yes. Brandon.
I always brought my guns home.
Shit.
Like every night I brought my guns home from work. She went from like crying to, you know what? All right, motherfucker. All right. I started unloading shit. I was like, oh, I'm taking these motherfuckers. I ain't never bring my guns home. Nigga, they stay at work in the locker. I was like, oh, I started locking them up, putting clothes on them and shit.
Because women
like,
process, the way women process the shit is different. So that's why I tell people, I say, yo, it's funny because sometimes men, we miss the mark of what shit. A lot of times, Chad, men miss the mark.
Angela, you are so lucky. You are like perfect. Like, you really got that.
Yeah, we miss the mark of what shit means because we think when she's crying, like we don't understand that when she's crying, that's the time we still got a chance to fix shit. Like when she's crying, we still got a chance to repair
When she
the
stops,
damage. When she stops, because that's usually when niggas figure it out.
Yeah.
Niggas usually figure it out when she stop and she just cleaning the house and she's talking to you polite. She not yelling at you no more. She not cussing at you no more.
It's a point in the argument, and you gotta remember, it's a point in the argument or discussion when she'll say okay.
Mm-hmm.
Once she says okay, it's not okay.
I always tell dudes, she left you like 5 months ago.
I tell people all the time.
Physically, she just bounced.
No.
Emotionally,
No, nigga, she broke up with you 3 months ago. She been planning her escape.
Yeah.
She been figuring out where she gonna live. She been lining up the next nigga after you.
Yeah.
Oh no. Women check out her. The problem with niggas is we think in the moment, so we get mad. Fuck it then, we broke up. And then we be out, ain't got no plan, ain't figuring shit out. Yeah, we ain't emotionally dealt with.
You know what? I told Johnny this one time. I said, women are like the feds, and men are like the local law enforcement. And basically, what I mean by that is, when there's a bank robbery, the local law enforcement, they want to catch you right there. Like everything is right there and now. What the feds would do, they would let you rob banks for 3 years.
That's why
You rob a bank, you like Bob, and just when you think it's cool, bam, they come in and rush
got
your
your
ass
ass for 10 banks.
And that's why the conviction rate is like 100%.
Yeah, and that's why the feds got a
With the
90%
Rico law.
conviction rate.
Yeah.
Because they would sit there, they're like, okay, cool, you robbed that one. I remember one, and how I found out about this, there's a bank robbery in Long Beach. We went, I'm like, bam, like, we gotta find, and the FBI showed up, they're like, oh, we already know who it is. They was like, yeah, we've been following him for the last 4 years. I was like, that's just letting them rob banks. It was like, yeah. It was like, we know where to get them when it's time to get them. Just like that.
Stacking up
And just stacking
Well,
up.
I talked to, and that's funny, I talked to an FBI agent, they told me, they were like, yeah, we've been following this nigga for 10 years. Like, but we need to get him to do certain things because we need to get somebody above him. So it is, but women are like that. Women will plot, they get away, they will plot, they break up, they will talk to their homegirl like, okay, on this day at 3 o'clock, I'm moving all my shit, he gonna be at work, I don't wanna run into him, but in case he come home, I need you there. to be my buffer. Like, I'm telling you, girls be having they shit worked out. Niggas, our dumbasses, I'm out. And you just take like one bag with a half a toothbrush and two outfits. And then you at your homeboy house with the stupid look on your face.
No plan.
And no plan. And you didn't really want to leave.
Y'all playing, man.
And then you come back. You think day one is cool, but day two you like, what our breakfast?
Oh, day one. Day one is the
It's
shit.
bomb. Yeah.
When you leave and you at your boy house, that's the shit.
Mm-hmm.
But then when he realized, like, hey man, my girl, like, how long you gonna be here?
Yeah.
We can't be playing that.
Like, because he kind of don't want to smash while you there. Like, you don't want your homie to hear you smashing your girl, so he's like, hey. Like we do stuff around the house.
Yeah, you gotta buy. So, and it is. But I think
She's shopping, she
again,
haircut.
education,
Change
man.
the law.
We gotta do a better job of educating our fellow brethren who don't know about these signs about women. You know what I mean? And
If you cool with them, if you're not cool with them, fuck them.
Pretty much.
because you don't want to be the one caught up in the.
No. I'm saying you educate the dudes if you cool with them.
Oh, okay.
You let them go through the shit if you don't like them.
You want to?
You want to go through that shit.
Just evil. Just
Well,
evil.
cause see, and that's another thing how men are, and you guys disagree if I'm wrong. But we kind of like we learn through action.
Yeah.
And where I realized that is as a father, I tell my daughters, look, don't go in the kitchen. It's hot in there. And they go, oh, okay. And then they're like, Dad, don't go in the kitchen. It's hot. So they're like 4 or 5. I'm telling my son, dude, don't go in the kitchen. It's hot. Dude, stay out stop playing with the damn stove. Stay out the kitchen. And then next thing you know, I'm in the hospital 2 o'clock in the morning because his ass and woke up and put a Dorito bag on the stove. But guess what? He hasn't touched the stove since. And that's kind of how men are. We kind of look. You can tell us don't climb up that tree. Don't you
Man,
get up there?
I got this.
Damn. Next thing you
I
know,
shouldn't have climbed up that damn tree.
You realize, and you never climb up that tree again. That's kind of and we grow up and we see our homies fucking up and we like, you know what? That nigga gonna have to learn how I learn.
Hey, that is real shit though. Sometimes you be like, I can't get in that. Like, cause even though if you want to, like some shit, you really be like,
He gotta learn.
Because sometimes, and this is true when it comes to men, sometimes the male ego will not let you listen.
Oh yeah.
It won't let you listen.
Like
Like
you think he is talking to me.
yeah, like nigga,
I ain't no child, nigga.
I ain't no child or I ain't you. I ain't no child, nigga. I ain't you. That I'm like, alright, cool. It ain't about or you can't tell me what to do with the number one thing. So it's not about you can't tell me what to do. It's about, bro, I've been there. I fucked it off. I'm trying to tell you how not to fuck yours off. They're like, nigga, I got this.
Yeah, cool.
Cause that's the thing. It's always the nigga, I got this. You know, and then he's back here at your house like, nigga, she went through my phone.
I didn't have it.
And I'm just looking at that nigga like,
Nigga, you got it.
like, bruh, I tried to, you know what I'm saying? Because most times, okay, if your girl ain't shit, I'm not gonna tell you. But if you got a good girl at home,
that you can't do.
yeah, if your girl ain't shit, I'm not gonna be like, bro, you fucking up. If your girl ain't shit, I'm kind of like, this kind of gotta take this course.
You gotta play out.
The niggas
We gotta see how this gonna play out.
Because she got it. Oh baby, he just want what you have.
Yeah.
That shit
Because I've been through, like I lost a friend, and this was just high school, but I lost a friend in high school because his girl tried to holler at me, and I know he was super sensitive, so I was like, fuck, how do I tell him this? Because when she tried to holler at me, I was like, ain't she with it? Woo woo. She's like, yeah, but he ain't got. I'm like, bitch, that nigga's with me every day. Like that's my dude. And she's like, so what? Woo woo woo. I think you could. I'm like, but you're with. I was like, you know what? First of all, we're not having this conversation. I was gonna talk to him the next day at school. Before I could even get to him the next day at school, all the homeboys came up and told me. They was like, damn, nigga, you fucked up. Nigga, you was trying to talk to the homie girl. I said, nigga, what? And they're like, yeah, nigga.
She flipped it on.
She flipped it on before I even got to talk. But what pissed me off about it was, I was like, you heard her, believed her, and reacted without having one conversation with me, and I'm supposed to be your boy.
Well, he was gonna believe it regardless of the conversation, which is what basically he was saying. Like basically he was telling you, well, I mean, even if y'all would have talked, he was.
Yeah, because when he did talk to me, he said, I
it.
can't believe you would do that to me. I said, I can't believe you think I would do that to you. You know what I'm saying? I was like, first of all, she tried to holler at me, bro. And I'm like, second of all, she tried to highlight a few of us, my nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? But we was trying, you trying to expect, because this was the girl he had been trying to get with. He had finally got her.
Well, why was he having such a hard time? She seemed to be wanting to get with everybody else.
Because she didn't want to be with him. He wore her down. You know how sometimes a nigga just wore a chick down, especially back in high school.
Yeah,
he just wore her down.
They do.
You know what I'm saying? But so she was trying to get with a few of us, and we all had came together. Like a couple of us was like, how do we?
If you have to have a meeting,
we had to have a meeting. That's what I say. So if your boy's with a girl like that, and he fucking up, I'm kind of like, well, we just gotta see where this should go. But if you know your boy got a good woman, because I see a lot of women in the comments saying, why don't we, tell our boy? The funny shit is, we do more than y'all know.
Yeah,
exactly.
We do more than y'all know. Like if my boy really got a good chick and he's fucking up, I'm like, hey man, she a good chick. Like you need to chill out. Like if he really got a good woman, your friends will tell you like, hey man, you better chill. You fucking up. Like we will tell you that more often than not.
That's
but
one thing that women don't realize is that a lot of times, guys, if they got real friends, they friends letting them know.
Yeah.
They friends not really the ones like, hey yo nigga, come on out, let's do this. I got some broads for you and all that. A lot of times niggas be like, hey yo, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I believe that. I believe that. I can envision that.
But just like somebody had a meme, somebody put up a meme the other day, they were like, it's your birthday, and your girl is at home like this, and it was the girl in the bathtub, and then it was like, and your homeboy is at a room, like, and it was a homeboy at a hotel with like 3 girls at a hotel. I'm like, first of all, your real nigga is not gonna do this.
Yeah.
Right.
Like your real nigga is not gonna do that. That's first of all. And then second of all, I'm like, well, these niggas fucking up already. They got the camera and video and shit out already. Talking, come through, nigga, it's lit. Yeah, you about to go fuck your whole life up and get no Snapchat.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So I think women think that they think encourage the fuckery all the time, but that's not always the case. Sometimes even if I tell them not to do it, they're going to do it anyway.
Yeah, man gonna do what he want.
A man gonna do what he want to do.
Period.
So, but a lot of times we do tell them. A lot of times we do have those. Cause like, Rakeem said, not a meeting. Yeah, sometimes we have a meeting. Niggas get together, we sit in the garage and be like, all right, look, check this out, bro.
That's what we do at sports bars, the barbershop.
Strip club.
Yeah.
Strip clubs.
Yeah, because at the barbershop dudes, the crazy at the barbershop dudes really ask, or they really be trying to find out.
Well, the reason why the barbershop works, because there's always like
the older.
You have from
generations
12 to 70 years old in the barbershop.
Yeah.
So you got the teenagers, you got the preteens, you got the 20-year-olds, you got everybody, 30, 40.
So you get every aspect.
So you get every aspect
and that's one
in the
thing
barbershop.
that I've always seen in different films and stuff is how, and even there was an episode of Blackish, how the barbershop is like a core of like the black male communication.
Absolutely.
I've seen it over and over. The cornerstone, right? I've seen
It's crazy because that's the one place, that's one of the few places that people don't realize, that's one of the few places you can actually be the most vulnerable.
Yeah.
Like, it don't seem like it, because people think in the barbershop just talking shit about sports, but like, we'll talk shit about sports and it'll go from what happened to your girl. Like niggas will talk, like, you will end up having one of the deepest conversations with a nigga you ain't never met.
With your barber.
With your barber and his girl and the other dude that just so happened to be in there.
And ladies, if you notice, when y'all walk in, we always talking about sports. Because we wasn't just talking about sports before you walked in.
Yeah.
I mean, automatically, when a female walk in,
It goes to
the
sports.
conversation changes. Like,
I
hey,
don't
so
like to
man,
go
we
to
think about the Lakers tonight.
Yeah.
We'll switch. But like that, I never thought about that. That is one of the most vulnerable places we could go, because you, like you got the teenagers asking questions to us, and I remember one time I met a dude married 55 years. I was like, hey, old school, how you do it? And I won't ever forget, he looked at me and said, you know what, I just never stopped dating.
Yeah.
And to me, I was like, damn, like something so simple.
It's like
and everybody in the barbershop was like, wow. And the barbershop is like really one of our best spaces to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as, I know guys, we check each other all the time.
All the time.
What we don't do, we don't check each other on Facebook posts. I mean,
yeah.
You don't do that because
we don't blast.
We don't blast.
I'm an act Quincy nigga. Like that's and that, I think that's maybe why women think we don't check. Yeah. We don't operate the way y'all do. And
that's a fight.
Yeah, but like even if, like, say for example, me and Damien have a disagreement on Facebook in like the comment section, we won't continue that disagreement in the comment section. I'm either gonna inbox Damien or I'm gonna call him.
Yeah.
Women don't keep that shit going in public. Like, blah, blah, blah,
I mean, if it's something that's worthy of life.
Yeah,
sometimes it's just like a Facebook post.
But I know, but I'm saying, but sometimes it'll be even just a misunderstanding. I'm like, oh, I think he misunderstand, or we just need to get on the same page. I'm gonna pick the phone and
and
I'm
make
calling
sure
him.
he sees because I'm typing it.
So we deal in that, and you know this is a whole nother subject for a whole nother day. I know we about to get it, because we kind of dealing up front. Women deal in passive aggressive. Y'all speak a full as passive aggressive language.
Yeah.
Y'all have a full like passive aggressive like it's like y'all don't need no translation. It be shit that my girl will tell me. She be like, look at this, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck this means. I'm like, oh, she just said well bye, and she like no, she said well bye, and then the whole backstory of what the well bye comes from.
Why are you looking at me?
You know what I'm saying? You like, she said well bye because 2 weeks ago we were woo woo woo. That's y'all speaking of passive aggressive
But it be
language.
right though.
I mean, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying y'all speaking of passive aggressive language. So what y'all call us not checking each other, because y'all would check each other very passive aggressively.
Well, it goes-
oh no, I bought this from Nordstrom's. Thank you. You know what I'm saying?
Anytime they
yes.
put the like 5 laughing emojis, like her motherfucking ass ain't laughing.
Right.
Yeah, okay, boo boo, whatever. Okay. I was like, so you just sit up here and did like 50 comments just to tell her you didn't like her. But shit, I just tell you, hey, I don't like
Right.
her.
Well, it's a part of gathering the evidence, like you talked about earlier. You know.
Real life subs, man.
No, they make real life subs. Like I'm talking about, I ain't talking about on Facebook. I'm talking about, I've seen women.
No, real life.
I sat at a lunch with 2 women who couldn't stand each other, and I'm like looking at this whole interaction, the whole conversation of them saying slick shit to each other that's not slick at all, but smiling and laughing all the time. So anybody else at this lunch will probably think they just had a great lunch with 2 friends, and I'm looking like these motherfuckers hate each other. Yeah, they hate each other. Like she like, oh, I see you got your little engagement ring.
Oh, little.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes.
it be that little coded shit.
Yes.
It be that little coded
Yes.
shit.
Little is always
little,
coded.
yeah.
No,
Yes.
she said little, your little anything.
Work your little
boy-
job.
Your little job. The little house.
Little
Yes.
job,
Yes.
The little ring.
Got your little
Yes.
car now.
Coded.
Yeah, or like, and then she comes back like Chan, so I see your boyfriend got his little job.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
If Little's in there,
Yeah,
that's
Little's in
that's
there.
shit.
but you thinking they having a cool conversation, and they literally like checking each other like, oh, so is that from Nordstrom's rack? Oh no, this is from Macy's. So pretty much you say, oh, you a broke bitch? Nah, bitch, I'll pay full price. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like this whole coded, and I'm looking like, what is happening?
I mean,
What?
to me, it seems like you fully understand that. So
Right.
And then look, and then we walk off. I'm like, oh, that was your homegirl. Fuck that bitch. I'm like, wait, what? Like y'all just had this whole conversation. I'm thinking y'all friends. Yeah, I can't stand her. But that's how that's how y'all operate. Men will be like, fuck that nigga. And then you walk up on just ain't no fake conversation.
Ain't no fake hugs, ain't no compliment.
No.
Hey, girl.
Ain't none of that. But when y'all hit them with the smiling, hey girl. No, y'all fuck each other. They don't really fuck with each other. But they gonna sit here and have a whole 10-minute conversation like they really do. How's your baby with her little active self? You just call my child bad. Right? Like, I started to catch on. Like, I started to catch on to what shit really means.
You got
a badass kid.
So that means you cannot hang around with two women
right.
who are having sex.
How do you know I come?
Yeah.
Like, you figure it out. You got the cheat code.
No, I'm figuring out the cheat code, man. I be paying attention, I be watching.
Yeah.
But that's why, because y'all operate like that, y'all think men don't check each other because we don't operate like that.
Yeah.
We don't talk, because like if I fuck with you and we having disagreement, I'm not gonna be like, hey, you know, I'm not gonna talk to Damien like passive aggressively and say little slick shit to him. I ain't gonna hit him, I'm like, hey my nigga, what's good, woo woo, and he'll be like, oh no, I wasn't like that, or he'll be like, oh no, I didn't like the way you woo woo woo, and then we done.
Yeah.
The difference is we done with it.
Or no, we'd be like, nah, you fucked up.
Yeah.
Nah, you fucking up.
But we done with it. Women will pretend to be done with it. Like y'all had a conversation, and y'all supposed to be over it, but it's like little remnants of that conversation
It's still lingering.
comes back. It lingers.
They're frenemies then. You know?
Yeah, like it kind of look at your face.
No, because
They be like-
I'm thinking of a very specific situation where I tried the straightforward approach and it did not work.
No, and it doesn't always work.
It does
because-
not always work.
because I don't think that always works, especially for women, because y'all
It wasn't
operate
like
on
women.
y'all kind of don't operate on that plane.
Well,
So that's what I'm
look,
saying.
if men want to figure out how women behave with each other when they
Yeah.
don't like each other, is watch that clip with Diane Carroll and
John Collins,
John Collins
from Dynasty.
That was it right there. Cause they
had a full conversation, just trashing the shit out of each other, throwing shade through the whole conversation.
with smile on their face.
Yeah, she was like, so, like she disrespected the bitch caviar.
Yeah, you know, none of us when Wendy Williams did.
Omarosa.
Oh yeah, that was a perfect example.
Yeah.
Wendy Williams and Omarosa had a full interview where they hated each other,
other, like-
but they smiling
But
and talking
they-
about each other's shoes. But she shitting on her shoes.
Yeah, she
like
shit on her makeup. I was like, damn, with a smile.
In the comments, they keep saying some women. Yes, some women. Y'all know we not talking about
Oh,
all women.
damn, I hate them.
We saying some women. Y'all, all right, some women. But we know a lot of women. I will say, me personally, in my life, I know a lot of women who behave on this passive aggressive.
Or
plan.
if they don't, they have.
Amen to that.
Let's
sister.
let's
Yeah.
Let's keep it
Be honest.
Let's keep it a-
No,
113.
no, they haven't. They never have.
Okay. Okay. Well,
Fuck
so
outta here.
everybody's not perfect. I'm perfect, damn it.
Shit, it's 8:40 already, man. That was a good ass show. We just went over time. And for everybody watching, we're gonna start at 6:15 now, because now since we got the camera, we go on Facebook Live. It take us a little minute to set up, so we're gonna go 6:15 to 8:15 instead of 6 to 8.
Or
Next week,
8:40.
well, 8. Yeah, I mean when shit get
No,
good.
you
I mean we have everybody here.
We are having a blanket drive for Christmas for the homeless. Quincy and I are gonna go out on Christmas morning, give blankets to the homeless. So if anyone wants to donate, hit us up in the inbox, in the comments. We're collecting until December 23rd.
Yeah, and the homeless, they I mean, of course, it's a
About
blanket
socks
drive,
and
but
Socks, whatever.
but
They
they
always
always ask for like water.
Water,
Because water is
yeah.
used for like multiple different things.
yeah.
So.
So whatever you guys
And,
want.
we can come that day
and if you have some toys, because what we find out, there's a lot of homeless kids.
Right.
And
So we usually give
if
them
you have some
whatever.
toys, blankets, whatever, beanies, gloves, because it gets cold, whatever you can. And we go out every Christmas morning. I say we get about 8 o'clock
Yeah.
till about 10, 11.
Drive around.
And we go from Long Beach to LA to whoever we see, and we help them out.
So anybody who got something, and you know,
They don't have to be new, but we like them to be clean and something that you will still use.
And to your point, even about the toys, yo, we all know there's places like Discount Price Land,
Yes,
Big
yes.
Lots, and 99-cent store where you can go clean up like $10 or $15 that you blow on some bullshit. You can make some kids Christmas amazing.
I mean, I'm gonna tell you, just to that point, Dave. The first time we went out there, I didn't even know. I didn't even think there would be kids out there. So I had McDonald's toys in the car, and that's what we were giving them, and they loved it. And so,
Yeah.
anything was what
Yeah,
you
so
know.
anything. So please, if you can, like, just take $10 to $15 and go spend on the toy section at the 99-cent store or Big Lots or
Yeah,
Discount
whatever
Price
you guys
Land,
want to
something like
donate.
Don't cause
The,
nothing.
the other thing in which they like is they like gift cards for like McDonald's or Jack in the Box, $5, because when you give them cash, it's easier for them to mismanage or lose cash. But
Well,
when you
we
give them,
normally give food. We normally give lunches. We give them
Okay.
food, lunches, and like sandwiches so they can have for later.
Yeah.
You know, 'cause
Gift cards come in handy.
yeah, the
they-
little
they
$5
probably-
gift
they probably
cards, what we
would,
give
yeah.
our clients, and it literally, they manage the hell out of that $5 gift card,
They
as
can
opposed to giving them $5 cash, and trust me, they lose money all the time.
Right.
People steal from them all the time, so
Yeah.
they like that plastic feel, and they manage it easier. So.
yeah.
Okay, that's good enough, good information. Hey man, first of all, I want to thank everybody who came out today, man. It was a great
My
panel.
cousin wanted to thank y'all. He texted me and said thank y'all for having me.
Yeah, man, thank him for coming on and giving the story about the nigga trying. He said with a gun.
And then, wait a minute, why did he get mad at me for asking if it was a real kill? Because let me tell y'all this, I was not expecting him to say with a gun. I thought he
Yeah,
was mad
me
at me.
neither.
He was mad at me, he was gonna kill me. Like he literally meant a
I guess
gun.
if I knew the story, I
Oh, okay, you knew he was talking about a gun. I was like, oh,
With
okay.
bullets?
Like a bullet
They had
gun?
bullets?
A bullet gun?
Got Damien Griffin came back by, man. Shout out to Damien, Jackie Chandra, Q the Rebel. It's me, Dame. We got Daniel, who's here, working on a ton of shit, so I'm glad he was able to make it. I know he's gonna go right back home and go right the fuck back to work. We got Mr. Hammond, not to be confused with Fred, that's Brandon, and the hoster over there is Sam Hogan, man. We got on camera, we got Jamila and the original.
Tanya!
The original.
So next week, she was actually watching the show, man. Maggie Pie, Crystal Clear, she couldn't make it, but she said she was sorry, but she joined in even on the comments. She said she'll be here next week, so thank you, sweetheart. And we trying to get the gumbo, man. We're trying to get Chef Shad rescheduled, so yeah, we'll figure that out. And then we got some crazy guests coming up, man. Like, hey, y'all stay tuned because Uncouth got some shit on the ride. Some shit is popping. So thank my panel again, man. This was a great show. Everybody in the comment section, big ups to everybody in the comment section. We appreciate y'all, man. Like, we really appreciate y'all and all the interaction because y'all make this shit worth doing. We see y'all next week when we out here.
Cut it off. Cut it off. We off?
No, fertilized eggs are